888-866-3670. Offices in Baton Rouge.
WNXX, Jackson, KNXX, Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers, LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Good morning, everybody. It is 7 a.m. on Tuesday, July 25th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect sunny skies with a high of 97. Coming up on OTB, we have a new edition of OTB Mailbag at 8:15, so get your questions in. And Nick Underhill of New Orleans Football joins the show in the third hour. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. Hour number one of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go!
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah!
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I gotta come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? What's going on? Tuesday, July 25th, 2023. And OTB is back with another show. Hope you're having a great Tuesday here. It is Vet Report Day for your New Orleans Saints. A lot of football in the air. And today is going to be a lot of football preview. I want to talk a little recruiting. I want to look at Mike Thomas. I want to talk about some of these other Saints questions. I want to look at some of the NFL as a whole. We're going to talk to Andy Staples about what he views going on in the SEC right now, as well as his move to On3, everything else. We got a smattering of NBA, maybe the couple Jokic and Harden stories. Of course, Nick Underhill, like Mara laid out. And I want to talk to maybe some SEC quarterback battles. So today is going to be very football preview camp hype train heavy. Right before the show, I guess I'll just mention this because it is breaking news, and we did talk about it yesterday, Jake. It looks like Saquon Barkley and the Giants have agreed to a deal. 1 year, $11 million, right at where basically that franchise tag would have been $2 million signing bonus. So for all the high-minded talk yesterday of Barkley holding out and saying, okay, Daniel Jones, prove it, at the end of the day, the leverage remains basically none. As it's not a bad 1 year payday compared to other running backs, right? Like if you can get 14, that's going to put you at the top of the league right there with Kamara, McCaffrey, and everything. But again, at a position where you have, long term, you have no value. There's no long term security offered by that. But if you're a Giants fan, you're probably ecstatic to hear this.
That's why if you get a franchise tag opportunity, you almost have to take it at that position because you just don't know when your next payday is going to come.
Yeah.
And you're probably not going to get a long-term deal, certainly not now. I mean, just because so many people have gotten those deals and, hey, basically disappear like we talked about yesterday. So, if, like for Kirk Cousins, when he was going through his 1 year deals, that might not have been ideal for him. But for a running back, you almost have to take it. So,
well, it's weird. I actually think that franchise tags for quarterbacks are incredible for a couple of reasons. Because the number's huge, right? Because it's the top five average. It's the average of the top five salaries, right? So number's massive. And because people are so desperate for quarterbacks, you can get hurt and it doesn't kill you, right? It's like the Dak Prescott thing. Kirk Cousins, like both those guys, like, okay, you're going to tag me? Like, okay, sure. And eventually, you're still going to have to give me a long-term deal, or like somebody's going to give me a long-term deal. I mean, for Cousins, what was it, 87, 3 years, fully guaranteed, everything?
For Kirk, though, he had to prove it.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
He had to because he didn't have maybe the fallback on, well, we saw him do it for so long, for 5 years in a row, so he kind of had to prove it. He wasn't even really the starter necessarily right before
That's
that.
true. That is a difference in the Dak situation. I just mean that it's not – you're not incurring as much risk as your average player is by being tagged because you're just so much more valuable. If you are a starting caliber quarterback, like somebody has to pay you. Not the case at running back, as the Giants would love to continue to sign Saquon Barkley to 1 year deals until he just can't do it anymore. And then leave him outside and say, well, thank you for your service, Saquon, but later, dude. So congrats if you're a Giants fan, though. Again, I think you're probably very happy coming off of last year. A lot of excitement entering this year, and it looks as if you'll have Barkley back. I want to start talking. I
know Taylor likes that news as a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, Taylor, how you feeling? You excited?
Yeah.
Are you going to figure out what's the deal with Tony Pollard? Y'all franchise tagged him?
Well, Tony Pollard's in the same boat where like he hasn't done that franchise tag yet.
Oh, he hasn't agreed yet.
And the thing was, like, I was talking about this a little bit yesterday when I was filling in for Hunt. Who is Dallas waiting to pay? Because they got rid of Dalton Schultz because they said we can't pay Pollard and Schultz. They haven't paid Pollard yet. Zach Martin might sit out because he's underpaid at the guard position. Like, who are you waiting to pay?
You don't want Zach Martin to sit out.
I think he is. I don't think he was on the team playing Oxnard.
He has not reported to camp.
Josh Jacobs not reporting either. The running back for the Raiders who we talked about yesterday. Chris Jones not reporting for the Kansas City Chiefs as well, which is potentially massive. As if you look at, the Chiefs are incredible. I don't know that I think they win a Super Bowl without Chris Jones. Then again, maybe there's a time when I said I didn't think they would win a Super Bowl without Tyreek Hill, and look at what Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs were able to do. But yeah, there's a lot of that going on in the air right now, as there is every year in the NFL. I do want to get to kind of some general NFL nuggets and storylines a bit later on in the show. Everyone's doing well today, though, I assume? Yeah?
Yeah.
Boys, you feeling good?
Doing good, man. Got a pep in my step with training camp starting, honestly.
Okay.
I'm really excited for the season. Get some actual games to talk about.
Yeah, we're right on the edge of it. I mean, week 0 for college football is what, 3-4 weeks away maybe? I think like basically 4, like at the end of this week, I think we might be 4 weeks from week 0. So the month countdown is officially underway. So yesterday, though, we talked about the LSU recruiting class getting another recruit, 19th recruit, right? And then today I was reading an Ari Wasserman athletic piece on some recruiting mailbag questions, and one of the questions from an LSU fan basically saying, why isn't LSU getting any 5-stars? And it kind of triggered something in my brain, Jake, where I want to ask the room a question. Do y'all find yourselves less married to recruiting rankings than you maybe were in previous regimes?
Well, yes, for a couple of reasons. One,
and why? Yeah, why would be the
it's never maybe been the thing that I pay attention to the most.
True.
I think you got to go out there. You have to recruit the players that you think can fit what you're trying to do, and because somebody else doesn't see the value they bring to your team, they're not going to value them as much as you do. So that's a part of it, but also the transfer portal. Now, you don't build your team through the portal. At least a lot of coaches are saying they don't want to, including Brian Kelly. But you're going to go get the best players. You're not going to deny if you have a 5-star corner like a Denver Harris, and it's a position of need for you. You're going to go take that player. Now, your foundation is still probably coming from high school, but I don't put as much emphasis in it now, because if you miss out on the big left tackle in recruiting, you can go get a left tackle out of the portal.
True. I hadn't really considered that. Mario, what about you?
Yeah, I agree 100%. And LSU has a good little strategy right now of getting Louisiana guys that originally didn't either get into LSU or didn't want to go to LSU, and then they come back years later after producing somewhere else. You're seeing that with Denver Harris, right? Louisiana kid.
Is Denver Harris from Louisiana? I don't think
Denver's from Houston. Greg Brooks is from Louisiana.
But yeah.
I mean, Logan Diggs.
Logan Diggs.
Running back
That's
from Louisiana.
that's another example. Yeah, so they seem to have it figured out. Recruiting definitely still matters, but like you said, not as much.
What about you, Taylor? Do you care as much as you used to?
So I've always been like a pretty close follower of recruiting.
Yeah.
But I've never followed stars. I've always looked at more like fit. You watch the tape of a guy, how good are they, that type of thing. Where they went to school, were they a bigger school? Were they a guy that was just slept on for whatever reason? That's what I look at more than stars. But I've always been like big into recruiting.
What about like raw team rankings? Because that's more of what I'm talking about. Like I feel like I've always said this. A golden rule has been I don't care about the micro, right? I don't care about the individual players. I more care about the macro. Are you keeping up with the Joneses essentially? And back in the day, I thought like if you're the LSU coach, you have to have a top 5 class. Like maybe you won't get number 1, But, like, that is something that Miles used to be able to hang his hat on. That's certainly something that Ogeron was able to hang his hat on. But in a year you were down at, like, 8 or 9, it felt like, oh, man, that's, like, what's going on here? And so I guess it's interesting where now I find myself not really caring, never checking the team rankings. And I'm wondering, is it because I'm just simply getting older and I'm just kind of, it goes year to year and it kind of is what it is? Is it because I think that Kelly is more competent at developing these guys? And then I remembered an Athletic article from earlier this year that Brody wrote where I think part of it could be that we've seen here at LSU the big names go bust and the small names go boom. Remember, we broke this down a couple of months ago. We are basically Iowa of the South. LSU is among the worst at developing, worse in the country, at developing 5-star prospects. In fact, LSU is the only team with more than 25-star signings during this decade, I think it was 09 through 19, the only team with more than 25 stars to send fewer than half to the NFL. So for whatever reason, the big names here have not always worked out. We're on the flip side. LSU's currently the third best in the country when it comes to sending 4 stars to the draft and the second best in the country when it comes to sending 3 stars to the draft. Maybe that has something to do with, certainly that's a feather in the cap for the Tommy Moffitt era of strength training, and Jake Flint will look to keep that going. Maybe that has something to do with Louisiana talent being undervalued. But I guess I was just kind of struck by the fact that he used to put so much into seeing and we used to really criticize and get angry if LSU wasn't in the top 5. And right now you look, LSU's 14. And they'll climb. That's the on-3 rankings I'm looking at. They'll climb, don't get me wrong. But I don't think they'll climb into the top 5. They have one top 100 player right now. I think they'll get more, but I think they'll probably end around 8, 9, somewhere in there. And at one point that would have felt like disaster, but now it doesn't. And I'm just kind of trying to explore why a little bit. Because Jake, should you be worried about not keeping up with the likes of Georgia and Alabama and these other schools? When you look right now, in this class, Georgia's got 4 or 5 stars. Ohio State's got 3, 2. Alabama's got 3. LSU at 0. Georgia yesterday, on top of having the number 1 and 2 player in the country, they signed the number 1 outside linebacker in the country. And that's who you're competing with. That's who you're chasing. LSU doing this can be better than 96% of the other schools in the country, but can you be that far behind with the big names and still contend for championships when it comes to of a Georgia and Alabama?
Yeah, I completely understand what you're saying, because when you see the numbers of it, Georgia and they're the back-to-back national champ and poised to make a run at a 3rd. So I understand that. Now Florida's at the top 2, so we'll see how those recruits pan out. But you still got to go get Jimmys and Joes. Don't mistake what I'm saying. But when you look at maybe what, and they call it the path, and when you look at what Brian Kelly and LSU are doing, you can tell their point of emphasis is dominate Louisiana first.
Yeah.
And so that's what they're trying to do in this recruiting class. And it's not to say that they won't go other places in Texas and some of the other pipelines that LSU's created over the years. But right now, that is we got to do this. This is number 1. We got to go win Louisiana. And I still think they'll end up in the top 10. They're not going to end at 14. That's your point. No. They won't end they might not end in the top 5. But you have to see how their recruiting process plays out, I think, before you really start to grade. In 21, I think they were top 3. I think they came at number 3 on 247 overall class. And then 2022, they took a little step back. But when you look the 22 class and who's played, one of the lowest rated guys in the class, Mason Taylor.
There you go.
That's the first one to play.
The development continues.
So, yeah, there's pros and cons. We could go back and forth. Certainly, Georgia's dominating on all aspects. But remember, Georgia does not do a deep dive into the portal. Last year, they didn't take a single player. This year, less than 5.
Yeah.
So they're building their roster, and it's worked for them through high school. Alabama hasn't been big into the portal. Some of these other teams have not been big into Clemson, who's here at number 6. They've taken 2 players out of the portal. One who signed with them, left and came back, and the other one, Bear Bryant's grandson, who Dabo Swinney played for at Alabama.
Yeah.
Or has a tie with. I don't remember if he played for him. I think he played for Gene Stallings. But
Yeah, but he has
a tie to bear. So that's how they want to build their teams.
It's and the Louisiana thing is interesting because you would have thought if Brian Kelly, I mean, what a lot of people thought at the onset is if he would have struggled anywhere, it would have been putting the gates up around Louisiana. But if he ends up signing, I mean, no LSU coach has ever signed the top 10 players in the state. And I want to say they're like 2 away from doing it now. And they'll actually have a chance to. They'll probably at least get 9 of the top 10. So he's absolutely put the fence up. Now, in these next 5 months, you just got to go prove that you can snag a couple of these top guys, right? Add some of the star power to the group. That said, though, I do trust the process of development, Brian Kelly's process that we've talked about. And it's impossible not to feel good about the competency given what you did results-wise relative to last year's talent level. So some interesting food for thought as we watch this go down over the next few months.
So here's the 2021 class. And so these are some of the players that are now going to be veterans on your team. Start to count on these guys. They'll be in their 3rd year on campus. Alabama finished 1, Ohio State 2, LSU 3, Georgia 4, Clemson 5.
Okay.
So, I mean, you could take a look at that. And obviously, like, those teams are going to be expected to be towards the top. But you have Miami, who finished in the top 10. Florida finished number 11. North Carolina finished 13.
2021, that's Ogeron, right? I'm not being dumb. Like, that's the Ogeron era? That's the last Ogeron class, right? Okay. Yeah.
So that's when you signed 23 players in the class. Mason Smith and Sage Ryan were the 2 highest rated players in the class.
Yeah. I'm not counting Brian Kelly out in anything, and I love the Louisiana folks. In fact, the 13 signees from in-state are the 2nd most in the nation to Texas Tech, who all 17 commits come from Texas. Also, Texas Tech, you get $25K off the bat if you're on the Texas Tech roster, even walk-ons.
A&M soccer gets $35,000.
What? Oh my! Mm-hmm. Oh, man, that Buc-ee's guy must love footy, dude. Who would have guessed? All right. When we get back, let's talk a little Saints camp. As I want to talk about Mike Thomas. Will you see him in the first practice? More OTB coming up next.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Go to All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com. Look, man, or All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge right there on Airline Highway. Go in and see them. If you want a new vehicle, or maybe you're just looking to sell, or you want to trade yours in, again, the time is now, okay? Value remains sky high, and then you can turn right around and take advantage of some of the incredible deals at All-Star. Remember, you go to allstartoyotabatonrouge.com. You can look at some of the offers. Certainly, if you're a military veteran, a current member, if you are a recent graduate, they always got deals for you. In fact, on the website, you can even order your vehicle customized right there off the website. Look, chances are you're going to get in, test drive, see what they can offer you. It's all there for you off Airline Highway. Go to allstartoyotabatonrouge.com.
Yeah, once you go to the website, remember you can customize your vehicle on the site. You can also go in off Airline Highway and do it in person a couple of different ways. But you get what you want. And also what you don't want if you want to take something off of the vehicle. Go to the website today, allstartoyotabatonrouge.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR. The New Orleans Saints report for training camp. We'll have all the latest previews from New Orleans. Join us 3 to 6, 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Speaking of stars, nice job, Mario. Lars says, oh man, did I lose the comment? Is T-Bob making excuses for Brian Kelly? Brian Driscoll said BK can't recruit. Was he correct? I don't know. I don't know if I don't. Okay, if any part of what I said sounded like I was saying that BK can't recruit, then that is not, or that I was making excuses. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that I do believe in his process. We talked about the year one results, and more so than that, I do think it's successful strategy to put the fence up around Louisiana. Right, that's like literally what we've all accepted as core truth for 2 decades now. Ever since Nick Saban kicked off the golden era by doing that. And he's accomplishing that. And beyond that, you know, I love things like blue chip ratio in terms of just establishing your kind of baseline of on the whole, what are you trying to hit? And in 19 commits, you've got 13 four stars. That's 66% roughly. So yeah, that's elite. Like if you're at 66%, you're going to be top 7, top 10 in the entire country. So again, you're pacing fine and really well in some areas, like in-state recruiting. It's just that you don't have the big names that some of the other big dogs have, and it's just something to watch over the next 5 months.
I would say recruit well, develop elite. Would be if I'm saying this is how I would want it. I think that's better than recruit elite, develop well.
Agreed. I would take and we've seen it. I mean, during the decade that we referenced, during that decade alone in which LSU wasted all those 5 stars but hit on so many 3s and 4s, you won a natty and lost a natty.
Yeah.
So you made it there twice. So absolutely, it's certainly
Because
possible.
Georgia's doing both. We just went through their 2021 class. The 3 guys they just had at Media Day were 14, 20, and 25 in that class.
Yeah. That's why I hate Georgia, is because they're getting these big names, but they're still willing to go after guys that they just think are their guys, like a McConkey or a McIntosh, or I don't know what was Bowers coming to high school. Was he a beast?
He was a 4-star, but he was 14th in that class.
Wow.
Georgia.
Yeah.
Bullard, the safety, like he was a 3-star. He was the lowest rated guy in that class.
And maybe we could touch on this too with Andy Staples a bit in hour number 2. Moving on to Saints camp, it is Vet Report Day today. Oh boy, that's right, starting to get underway. And a tweet yesterday from our guy last night, actually, right before 8 p.m. We'll talk to Nick about it at 9 a.m. Saints wide receiver Mike Thomas is expected to be a full participant in Wednesday's practice with training camp opens per source. And it's funny because I think this would sound, if you had no context, this would sound like a nothing burger. Like, okay, yeah, of course. Like you
should.
Yeah.
You're
like,
on a contract.
like,
go to practice.
But for those of us who have lived through the Mike Thomas saga, you know what a big deal this is, because one of the core elements of the saga isn't just isn't him getting hurt, but it's just these crazy timelines that kept getting screwier and screwier, where injuries would linger and linger, and then it ultimately culminates in a missed surgery that ends up costing an entire season. And then he comes back last year, but he's never really healthy. Remember, he got hurt during camp. He dealt with that hamstring issue. He played week 1, dislocates the toe week 3, misses the rest of the year. So he has not had a camp in which he's entered fully healthy in about 3 years now. And so I think that's a very good sign. I do have a very simple question though that I would pose to the room. How good do y'all think Mike Thomas can be without Drew Brees? Pro Bowl good? Can he be all pro good? Can he even be wide receiver good? Like, that's another sub question, right? Is he even wide receiver 1 on a team now with Chris Olave?
Well, I think it's a fair question because that's when he dominated. That's who we know him as, is a receiver who did really well with Drew Brees. Now, I mean, we got a small sample size. I know Mario's probably just itching to get on the mic and talk about the Falcons second half that he had with James Winston.
It was really the fourth quarter, too.
It is his go-to.
I know Mayo said second half yesterday, but it was really just the fourth quarter.
Including the game winner. That's right.
Yeah, including the game winner.
See,
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I knew he was coming. But also, I mean, Mike Thomas is somebody that I think can be very successful with most quarterbacks. Not any quarterback, because there's some really bad ones out there. But most quarterbacks. And you go get a Derek Carr because that's what you wanted. You wanted a veteran quarterback who might have a lower ceiling, but you don't think his basement's going to be maybe as low. So I fully expect him, if he's out there, and it should be a nothing burger, but you're right. We know full participant is a big deal. He should be receiver 1. Like he is somebody that has won Offensive Player of the Year in this league. Now, Olave can be that if he has to be, which he might. He might have to be that. After 2 games, Mike Thomas might be right back on the bench and well, maybe not even on the bench because when he doesn't play, we don't see him. But he might have to, and he can. He certainly can be that guy. But if Mike Thomas is healthy, he can still be, your best receiver and one of the better top 15 receivers in the league.
Mar, did you want to weigh in here?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you saw what he did with Breeze, but he's been successful no matter who's been the QB. I mean, we saw it with Jameis, limited sample size, but also that run where Teddy Bridgewater.
Bridgewater, yeah, he was still dominant with Bridgewater.
Yeah,
that is true.
Had a bunch of 100-yard gains, was still making Michael Thomas-like plays. It's to the point where I'm not going to get excited about stuff like this. No offense. When he's playing, he's elite. If he plays, I'm going to get excited, but I'm not going to get excited until like week 3 of the season when he's not only back on the field, but proving that he could not miss, 31 out of the next 32 games, whatever the stat is.
I'll get excited. Like I'll get excited the same way I'd be excited if Zion's fully healthy entering a camp. I'll get excited about Mike Thomas being a full participant day 1. The thing that I have the bigger question about, and maybe it's not even a Drew Brees thing, because I forgot about the Bridgewater era. But the question I have is, can he get close to the Final Four? Because even last year, we talked about it in those 3 games, he felt pretty good. He averaged 5 catches, 57 yards a game, which respectable for most, but way down in terms of his career. His PFF grades were way down. Yards per out was way down. 10.7 yards per catch was a career low. So, like, he was fine, but he was a shade of himself. Now, remember his reaction when Derek Carr was signed? Nobody was more excited than he was, saying thank God when Derek Carr was signed. So maybe he can retain that, but maybe we're kind of past. Like, is he a 1,000-yard receiver still? I think so. Is he all pro? I don't know that I can give him that benefit of the doubt. Taylor, do you have a take here?
Yeah, and as far as what you were saying, like, does he return to form with Drew Brees? Probably not, but I don't think he has to either. Like you said, like, can he be a 1,000-yard receiver? Does he have to be? I mean, this offense has a lot of weapons. Shaheed's going to continue to get better. Chris Olave was great. You got the three-headed monster running back, depending on how many games Kamara plays. You upgraded at the quarterback spot. I mean, he can be good, but he doesn't have to be dominant for this team to be successful.
You're right. There is, though, another group that may have to be dominant for this team to be successful. And, in fact, it's a couple of groups. It's maybe where all the Saints question marks lie, and it's probably in the part of the football field where you don't want your question marks to lie. Let's break it down next here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come on, in Baton Rouge. I'm ready, what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down to
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,500 off MSRP on all new 23 Ram 1500 Laramie trucks in stock. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Bayou Ford has $8,000 off MSRP, plus 1.9% financing on new 23 Ford F-150 XLT trucks, along with Bayou Ford's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR. The New Orleans Saints report for training camp. We'll have all the latest previews from New Orleans. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to OTB. As we talked about right before the break there, Saints Vet Report Day. So we're talking to Black and Gold. We'll have Nick Underhill coming on to answer all your questions as well a bit later in the show. But kind of right before the break, I talked about where the Saints' biggest question marks lie. And this is maybe... if you're talking about where you would ideally want your question marks to be going into a year, this might be the worst spot. Because I think when you look at this New Orleans Saints team, the question marks on both sides of the ball are mainly in the trenches, right? Like you have other ones like, okay, who's going to be the, now that Caden Ellis is gone, who's going to be the third linebacker for this Saints team? Like there is stuff like that. As we mentioned yesterday, right? Who's going to win the Paulson Adebo, Alante, Taylor, Bradley, Roby? Like, how's that going to shake out? But the difference is you feel great about your first 2 linebackers, and you feel great about that secondary as a whole and whoever wins those jobs. When it comes to the offensive and defensive lines, if things go awry, it could sink the entire season. And that's not an exaggeration. On the D-line, you have, obviously, Peyton Turner, who we talked about quite a bit yesterday. And then while I believe in Granderson, you could consider him a question mark, being the role he's going to be asked to fill is going to be larger than ever. You have all new interior guys. You're trying to prove that you can hit on the defensive line, first-round pick with Brzee. And then offensively, obviously, guys like Cesar Reeves, Andrews Pete, and Trevor Penning going to go so far to determining kind of the ceiling of this football team. And what's interesting, I think, about this team, Jake, is because you do seem so solid at the skill positions, you got a pretty good quarterback in Carr. And defensively, like I said, you love the secondary and everything. It's like, if you are good up front, well, you could be pretty damn frisky. You could maybe even be a bit better than people are giving you credit for. Like, people are saying, yeah, you're going to win the South, but you're not going to really be able to make any noise. I don't know. Like, if you're good in the lines, like, you could fight for a playoff win and kind of see where it goes. But if you're not, it could go so badly that you could, like, miss the playoffs entirely. So it's a bit of a nerve-wracking spot to be entering with your question marks where it all starts up front.
Yeah, and I have more questions probably in the offensive line than I do the actual defensive line, because you signed some veteran players to play defensive tackle. You drafted one in the first round. I mean, you mentioned Granderson. That's somebody you can count on. You've been able to count on him in the past. Now, to the level that he's played last year with the 8 sacks, like, you hope so. But even if you get his best, I still think that's going to help you win games. You get Foskey there in the second round. So you've got resources put into that defensive line here in this offseason between the draft and free agency. So offensive line, we've talked about that. You mentioned quickly there linebacker. Behind Pete Warner and Demario Davis, you got Zach Bond, you've got Andrew Dow, DeMarco Jackson, and Ryan Conley.
Yeah.
That's a position group that if you get one guy hurt, and you don't worry about Demario Davis getting hurt, you worry about Pete Warner because of his history getting hurt. And that's a position where you don't have a fallback guy. Now, I like Jackson. I think at App State, he was one of my favorite draft choices in his class. You got him in the later rounds. I believe he was a 5th-round guy. He's shown flashes, but he's unproven. So offensive line, yes, but also that linebacker room, because you've got to have somebody step up, because Pete Warner is going to miss games. That's what his career has kind of told us. The way he plays kind of a reckless style, which I appreciate. But I'm a little worried about that position room right now, because defensive line, we don't know, but you have resources through the draft, 1st and 2nd round, and 2 veteran players you've gone out and signed. So that room probably more than the defensive front, if we're talking about the front 7 of the defense, worries me.
And what the stakes are, I would say, as high as they've ever been, because if it does go awry at linebacker, D-line, O-line, whatever, and you do end up sucking, then all the effort that you expended these last couple of off seasons trying to solidify this team, it all goes out the window. And Dennis Allen ends up fired. And you have to enter you're suddenly talking about a completely new era of Saints football taking place, which is potentially a bit awkward when you consider that you just committed to Derek Carr for relatively long term. This isn't like a 1-year deal or something like that. But make no mistake. I mean, for Dennis Allen, this is playoffs or bust. Like, I cannot see him being brought back if they don't make the playoffs this year. So high stakes with some questions at some pretty critical positions for the New Orleans Saints. Murray, you found some pretty interesting numbers here concerning Derek Carr that should potentially make Saints fans feel a bit better about this. How do you want to? What's the best way to communicate this?
So when the Saints first signed Derek Carr, I talked to my buddy Harry Ruiz, who's the Spanish play-by-play voice for the Raiders, and his first thing that he told me why Saints fans should be positive and optimistic about Derek Carr is because he's never played with a defense as good as the Saints have. And I went back over the years, the 9 years that Derek Carr has been in the league, the Raiders have never finished better than 20th in scoring defense.
Oof.
They were 26th last season. And that's just points that, defense gives up, not an end-all, be-all stat, but he's been behind on the scoreboard most of his career in Oakland. So hopefully that's not the case in New Orleans.
Well, and that would also kind of check out with a couple of other stats around Carr. I think it's like since 2017 he leads the NFL in like comebacks or game-winning drives, and well, that would speak to maybe a defense that's putting you in tough situations that you're having to overcome. You mentioned never ranked higher than 20th, and that maybe becomes a bit extra intriguing because one of the years in which they were 20th was 2016, which of course was when they went 12-4, and Derek Carr had his best year as a professional. That's a long time ago, but I mean in 2018, 32nd, 24th, 30th, 26th, 26th. Like the Saints, I would imagine, I feel very confident saying they will be a top 10 scoring defense in the entire NFL. So now it's on Derek Carr to prove that he really was being hamstrung and that it wasn't him kind of maybe influence the defense by putting them in bad situations at times.
And on the same token, I'd like to see Dennis Allen take a little more risks this year, going for it on 4th down, being more aggressive, things like that. Hopefully this stat is telling of that too. That's something that needs to change for the Saints.
Well, yeah, I mean, philosophically, the Saints cannot, and this is something that Jake talked about constantly this year, just cannot be as conservative as they were. Both in terms of, like you said, like risk-taking with like 4th downs and everything, but also just in terms of like pure philosophy. They've got to get more creative and be willing to push it more.
There's not really an excuse you can use for Derek Carr right now. Like, he has a setup. Like, he's got the receivers, he's got the tight ends, he's got the backs. Offensive line, you still got some questions, but it's not like it's the worst in the NFL. It's probably still somewhere in the middle tier because you've got a lot of draft capital in that offensive line. You have a defense, and so he's got everything he needs, in my opinion, to be successful. Like,
true,
he's probably got more pressure than most quarterbacks in the league, and that's a high pressure position. But with everything he's got around him, a new spot, his last spot, he had some glory days, but at the end of it, he was benched. So like, this is a big year for him, and when you start talking about Saints playoffs and how far can they go, like, quarterback's a lot of times going to be the most important player, but as we saw like last year, it can keep you from going to the postseason. It has to be something where he's the reason you go to the postseason if you want to have the kind of year that this roster says you can have.
100%.
I agree.
100%. And I think if you're a Saints fan, you don't have to be a football expert, hopefully, if things go well, to notice a difference with Derek Carr in there. And this is probably an oversimplification, but it felt like Jameis had a lot of problem pre-snap. Like, he couldn't make the right adjustments to his protection. He'd always get blitzed, and it would be problems. And then Andy Dalton maybe could make those adjustments pre-snap, but then he couldn't step up and make the throw. Hopefully you see a little bit of both with Derek Carr.
Well, do you guys remember, I mean, I guess it goes now from like pump the brakes on Carr to a lot of people are like, Derek Carr's not any good. And obviously nobody knew what Drew Brees was going to be before he got here. But I don't remember the same type of criticism around Brees.
Well, I think the difference with Brees is it was just way, way, way earlier in his career, and he had struggled really out the gate. And then what did he have?
The Saints franchise was horrible.
Did he have one or two? Did he have one or two good years in San Diego?
He had one really good year and one okay year.
Yeah,
he basically started 4 years.
I mean, they drafted Phillip Rivers for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Because when I was looking at the numbers yesterday, and I get it, Carr played 9 years.
That's what I'm saying.
Brees
Carr's
only
more of
played
a known
4,
quantity.
but year by year average, Carr actually has him in every single category. So it's like it's one of these things, and I'm not saying he's going to be
where the
Drew Brees or
franchise
anything.
was
Yeah.
too at the time. I mean, it was the Aints. I mean, it was a franchise that had very little postseason success, and it only came a couple years before you signed Drew Brees, and so the expectation for the franchise was incredibly low compared to where it's at now. Where over the last, since you signed Drew Brees, you've been kind of one of these standards and staples of successful NFL teams.
Yeah, I agree, and so it's a completely different setting that Carr enters. But I mean, I get where you're kind of nibbling at, though. Certainly there, Taylor's that. But look, that's kind of what Jake was just talking about. There's no excuse for Derek Carr. Like, the ball's in his court. If he wants to prove that he was being dragged down by a ineffective franchise, which certainly I think we would all agree the Raiders are, okay, go prove it. Like, because the Saints are not. The Saints have been very stable and very winning for the past 20 years. And so prove that you can carry that torch. So the table's set for Derek Carr. The question is, can he walk through that door? Coming up next, let's close out hour number 1 of Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Get Gordon and get it done. That's right. Same way that Carr's looking to get it done in the field this fall. Gordon's constantly getting it done for you in the courtroom. You get an action, you need somebody who's going to fight for you, get you what you deserve. You want Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, 225-888-8888. Again, you could use any area code in Louisiana, no matter where you're listening from, and just put 888-8888. And Gordon's got your back. Get Gordon, get it done.
Yeah, you can go to the website, getgordon.com. Remember, you can have a chat right there live on the website. You can find cases they can handle for you, past client results, always on social media. Even the artist formerly known as Twitter, @GetGordon, is the handle there as well. So check them out on all social medias. And also remember, area code in Louisiana followed by the 8. So it doesn't matter where you're at. You can be in North Louisiana if you're listening to us on 1130 a.m. The Tiger, or in Alexandria, or wherever. Put your area code there, followed by the 8s, 888-8888.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done, or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Rev Business started small in 1935. We built our reputation by providing hometown service with Louisiana hustle. For nearly 90 years, we've expanded across our great state, through the swamps and across the Mississippi, bringing fiber optics from the capital to the North Shore and down the bayou to the coast, all to connect your business with the world. Rev is about big business technology with small business personal service. Powerful solutions, unmatched local service. Rev Business.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few...
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR. The New Orleans Saints report for training camp. We'll have all the latest previews from New Orleans. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome back to OTB. Wrapping up hour 1 here. A lot of good football talk. Little Saints, LSU going down this hour. We do got Andy Staples coming up at 8:30. Mailbag at 8:15. If you want to do some of that. Have you ever played the video game Gran Turismo?
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, movie coming with
yeah,
it?
well,
Based
Snaps,
off the video game?
Yes, on Snaps, we are now doing ads for the Gran Turismo movie, which is hilarious to me because, like, I don't know that... Okay, so when I initially hear this Gran Turismo movie, I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, this is pure just... This is like Battleship, the movie. It's like, this is something that has some level of baseline name recognition. There's no reason to make a movie, but let's do it. But I was kind of shocked by the true story behind it. Have you heard about this?
Yeah.
How'd you, so I had no idea about any of this.
I remember randomly seeing something, gosh, I don't even know where I would have seen it, but yeah, how the video game actually turned someone into an actual racer, and they had a school for the video game. Yeah.
They so I've heard about iRacing and stuff back in the day, which I think is like the NASCAR equivalent, and I do know that like race simulators are probably the closest you can get to digitally like recreating what a real sport, like the thing you're trying to emulate feels like, right? You obviously can't do like football and basketball and stuff, but like I knew that. I did not know that anybody had ever broken into the professional ranks through video games originally. And apparently that's what it's the true story. So this movie's about.
There's some actual money behind the movie too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
right? It cracks me up though. David Harbour, things the whole time. He's just like, I think at least 3 times in the trailer. Like, he's just your classic jock. He's just ripping on the video game kids the entire time. And like 3 different times in the trailer, he's like, you mess up in the video game, you just hit restart. You mess up in real life and you die. Just to really set the stakes. So look, I don't say any of this to tell you to go see the movie, right? I would say that I have no idea if the movie's going to be good or not. I was just shocked that there's a real life story. Jan Maldenborough, I believe is his name. I was just shocked that there's a real life story where a kid was so good at the game that he got recruited to try to do it in real life and then legitimately became like a real life. Is it F1 that they're in?
Yeah. Right?
I think so. I think so. Spencer P says flight simulators train real pilots. Makes sense. Race simulators could do the same. Yeah, to be clear, like I know a lot of professional drivers train on the most elite race simulators. Like you can apparently like they have these tracks scanned digitally down to like the inch where you could tell like, oh, there's a little bit of a bump here and this here. Like, so you can do that. But generally it's somebody who's already a professional driver that's just training that way rather than somebody who's just so good at it that he eventually got there. Which is crazy to think about. Shout out though.
Do you get like an advanced screening of the movie if you're doing?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
But how you gonna talk about it if you hadn't seen it?
Yeah, that'd be.
I think you should give my guy a copy.
Yeah, that's true. Send me out to LA to go to the Gran Turismo. Actually, me and my best friends, one of the only fights we ever got in was when maybe Gran Turismo like 3 or 4 came out, and we were arguing over who got to play it, and I was really pissed because all I wanted to do was drive that Mazda Miata around the track. It was at the beginning of our career. We could only afford the Miata.
Yeah.
But you want to share the sticks.
Oh, it was actual sticks. It wasn't like a wheel.
No, absolutely not a wheel. I've never had a nice race setup. I feel like that or a flight simulator would be very fun.
Yeah, I want a flight
That'd
simulator.
be cool.
Yeah, Top Gun video game.
Yeah. More OTB, Hour 2, mailbag coming up.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to Aggitemp of Baton Rouge, AggiTempBR.com. AggiTempBR.com is the website. Aggitemp Baton Rouge is the company to help you take control of your comfort zone. Your AC is working overtime right now. Make sure that it lasts, okay? You call up Aggitemp, come get them out to give you a checkup. Experience what it's like to deal with the incredible customer service where they have such high reviews, and maybe even ask for something like the Star Club membership, where it's a flat fee and they just stay on top of everything for you and, again, help you avoid those catastrophic, very expensive issues down the road. Control your climate with your boys at Aggitemp Baton Rouge.
Get that scheduled today. You can go to the website, AggiTempBR.com, that T-Bob just gave you. Top right corner of the site, you can schedule online. So if you can't get to the phone right now, maybe you're already at work and you want to schedule, you can do it there. You can also call 225-351-2927 and get that scheduled. Remember, they'll send you a text of exactly who's coming to your home. AggiTempBR.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Good morning, everybody. It is 8 a.m. on Tuesday, July 25th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect sunny skies with a high of 97. Coming up on OTB, we have a new edition of OTB Mailbag at 8:15, so get your questions in the YouTube chat using the hashtag OTB Mailbag. Also, Nick Underhill of New Orleans Football joins the show at 9:15, and we talk college football with Andy Staples at 8:30. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. Hour number 2 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, what's happening, everyone? Welcome back, OTB. Spencer says, I'd be pretty happy if someone made the Wii Tennis version movie cinematic preview. I mean, look, don't tempt Hollywood. They could make Wii Tennis into a movie. What the angle would be, I don't know. I mean, you could do you could do like an animated movie at the Wii Sports Resort where like you're trying to win the big tournament, or you could do something about the boom of the Wii back in the day in 2007 when Nintendo pulled one of the funniest switches being like, we're all about motion controls. Then Xbox and PlayStation tried to copy, and then they were like, actually, let's go back to graphics. I don't know, whatever. Nintendo ended up finding their way. The Switch is dominant. Switch is doing just fine, even though it's old now.
It is old. And PlayStation had the iToy way back in the day. I don't know if y'all remember that, but early 2000s, they had a Wii-like game where you had to set up a camera and it would track your motions. That's the earliest memory I have of that
I
kind of
don't
thing.
remember the PlayStation. I knew they had the camera. I don't remember them having like controls through the camera. That's interesting.
Yeah, you'd move like your arms and legs to do all the tasks.
I mean, there was a Game Boy camera attachment. Do y'all remember that?
I do.
Like this big bulb on top, and it would print out the picture right away. Like they've been, and Nintendo's taken shots before. There was the, I think it was called Virtual Boy. That there was some 3D thing Nintendo tried very early on that had like this red screen that just went absolutely nowhere. They had that robot that used to load the discs. They had the Power Glove, which was a bit before my time. I don't remember the Power Glove.
Yeah.
I thought the Power Glove looked cool as hell when I was a little kid, but I know nobody with the Power Glove. Did you ever get to play with the Power Glove?
Yeah. Yeah, Power Glove that has a trackpad for the Olympic game.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I've never seen it before.
Yeah.
It's very like DDR. Remember the Dance Dance Revolution craze?
Yep.
I used to have a little DDR pad hooked up to the PS2, I believe, is when I would have been playing that game.
I played at CC's the other day, like 2 weekends ago.
Dude, you were such a beast if, like, in one of the public arcades, if you were a beast at DDR. Even though I always got a bit of displeasure from the fact that the best players wouldn't be freestanding and just working their feet. They'd always be leaned against the pole. Because you would almost have to because of, like, what was required of you. But they'd always be leaning back and just, like, their feet would be shooting out, where I was like the people who would stand up and actually be like, and like spinning around.
Poles have been used for dancing for a long time.
It's true. It's true. But this one's a horizontal pole as opposed to a vertical one.
Pole.
But yes, but still a pole. Pole dancing, all the same.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out DDR. Shout out the old track and field game on Nintendo that I've always heard about, which is supposedly legendary.
It was.
I mean, even think about something like the light gun with Duck Hunt on NES. That feels like technology that shouldn't have been possible at that time, yet somehow was, and was always mind-blowing. Stupid little dog laughing at you. He reminds me of Snidely Whiplash's little pup.
Before we move on, the use of a pole for sports and exercise dates back at least 800 years to the traditional Indian sport of Malakam.
What is Malakam?
It's a sport that employs endurance and strength principles with a wooden pole wider in diameter than a modern pole.
Huh. I wonder if it's like pole vaulting.
I was about to say it has to be pole vault.
Something like that.
I always wondered if, like, they used to pole vault over, like, castle walls and stuff back in the day. I don't think they did, but that would be tight if they actually had.
I think they maybe so.
Maybe if you're like trying to make it over a gap, certainly, or something, you could ride one over.
I mean,
did
the
it
Olympic
on
Games
Tremors
are
to
very
get away
old.
from the graboids.
They did. I don't remember Tremors that well.
Yeah, they did.
I haven't seen
They
Tremors.
went from rock to rock in the desert with the poles.
I was probably in 8th grade watching the Superstation last time I saw Tremors. Kevin Bacon?
Yep.
I believe.
I love
Kevin
how you call
Bacon.
it Superstation.
Reba McEntire's in it,
baby.
too.
TBS. Reba's in it as well.
Reba's in it, yeah.
Look, I think I can get this flight simulator.
Yes.
$200 for the actual, like, control and pedal.
What? Bro.
And then the chair's like $300.
Bro.
So, I mean, all in, like $600.
Do it for the boys.
That's what I'm saying.
Who has a birthday coming up?
What month are we in?
Jackson
has one in
July.
September.
I mean, there you go.
Yeah.
And he'd be most into it.
Yeah. Like, Dad, like, I didn't ask for this.
So
yes,
the question is, so the question is, do you try to incept him or do you just give it to him? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you try to be like, oh man, look at this, dude. This is pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
And kind of let it sit and then be like, oh man, I heard this about like Flight Simulator the other day. Maybe like talking about the Gran Turismo preview.
Yeah, I mean, we got a joystick here. We also got an accelerator. We have pedals. I think we can make this happen.
And then it ends with you're like, well, here, let me show you how to play.
Yeah.
Let me see how it works.
Yeah.
Let me just try. And then you and your son are gonna fight the same way that me and my boy did over the sticks.
And Kate's gonna be like, Harlow's crying. Where's Dad?
Shooting down bogeys over Kazakhstan. Duh. Taking on Russian MiGs, you nerds, okay? Prepping for the end times. If you ever get access to a fighter pilot or to a fighter jet. Video game accessories have a hell of an interesting history. Y'all don't, there's no way, I doubt it. Y'all don't remember there was a mech controller. I think it was called Steel Battalion back in the day. Maybe like Xbox One. Could have been 360. But it was like a $250 controller made for one video game. And it was a mech video game where you're supposed to be able to live out all of your mech fantasies. Which sounds all right, I think, until you sit down and you're like, I think this is a bit much. I'm trying to turn my brain off. I don't know if I want to like be worried about powering each leg and everything individually. Brian Bird says Wii Sports is a bomb. Spencer's Switch is awesome. The road trick travel hack. Yeah, Switch is great. They just probably need a hardware upgrade sometime soon.
You know, honestly, in your setup, and again, Caitlin's not listening to the show, you have an office where you have kind of already some of the makings of what could be whatever, a flight simulator.
Yes,
or if
I have
you
a
want
PC capable of running all that, yeah.
I mean, you could have it in there and literally no one would know but you.
So my problem is, well, twofold. First off, I am about to move out of that office. I'm going to move everything in here. But then the second part is it kind of goes back to the turning the brain off thing. I am finding it really hard to want to play any video game right now that requires even a modicum of energy. Like even a simple molecule of concentration. It's the reason why the only thing that I really game right now is for like 20 or 30 minutes a day. I'm logging onto WoW and just like killing stuff. Just not even, just no thinking. It is literally like Zen, turn your brain off sort of meditation. So like trying to fly fighter jets and F-18s right now, I just don't think it's for me right now. Eventually. Maybe I should get into like farming simulator. You ever seen these? Or like trucking simulator, train simulator? It's exactly what it sounds like.
Okay.
It is just those jobs at the pace that those jobs move. But that actually sounds almost more appealing to me, just because again, that is something that you could just turn off, tune in, turn off, and just chill during. Let's see.
Again, going back to you putting a flight simulator in your office, if you're moving offices and you're moving closer to where I can have access, I'm okay with that as well.
Yeah, that is essentially what is going to happen. I'm moving the PC and all my chessboards and miniatures and decorations and everything else into this office over the next couple of weeks. So that's going to be it's a lot. It's a little intimidating. I kind of want to do it, but maybe I'll do it at night or something. I'm not entirely sure. We'll get it done. Easiest way to make everyone on a long flight jealous. We'll have to switch and play some Zelda. So this kind of makes me think about something else. Have you all seen the Apple VR headset that they're coming out with?
Yeah.
It's like $3,500. Yep. It's incredibly expensive compared to something like the Quest. It'll probably also be pretty damn impressive technologically. Would you be comfortable enough on a flight to bust out the VR headset?
No.
Because it is the ultimate way to tune out and forget that you're on a flight. I mean, in first class,
abroad,
I think so, maybe, but like, I don't know, it kind of be tough in coach because I feel like you're already kind of bumped up against the person, and you might look a little weird.
If you're going from like New Orleans to Houston or New Orleans to Dallas, like I don't think you need that. But maybe if you're going, if you live like Danny's lifestyle and you're going from country to country,
man's everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it might work then.
He is all over the place. Well, if anybody wants to buy us Apple headsets and help us find out.
And also a gaming chair and all the pieces to be able to play Top Gun, we'll take it.
I agree. So just just hit us up on X, and we can get to it.
I always on off campus, whoever we have, I'm like, hey, the last thing I usually say is I give them a follow on Twitter and I give the handle. Like I didn't know what to say yesterday.
Wait, what happened? Oh yeah, exactly. I know.
Give them a follow.
Well, and now Elon says that he wants tweets.
To go.
He wants tweets to be called X's.
Yeah, it's like that can get you in trouble.
My pinned X.
Yeah,
that just sounds silly.
It's just all just like
sending all these X's.
Well, yeah, like we use tweet as a verb. You're like, oh, I got to tweet it out. What do you get? Like, I got to X it out.
It's annoying. It's annoying when you try, and that's just confusing.
Yeah,
it's annoying when you try to change the lexicon that we've all kind of accepted. I mean, do y'all call Facebook Meta?
No.
Still Facebook?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it Facebook by Meta because they're like pushback on changing the name? I don't know. I don't do.
But
Facebook.
when you talk about, I'm not maybe talking about just social media site, but when you talk about like as a whole, like do you say Instagram's owned by Facebook or is Instagram owned by Meta?
Facebook.
I don't even say it, but
I do.
Hmm.
I wonder when it will change because I catch myself sometimes now saying Meta.
For those of us that grew up with it, I think it's gonna take a while.
Yeah.
It's just sounds natural, on Twitter, not on X.
I mean, you're right, Taylor. A tweet is now a verb.
Yeah.
We're literally trying to replace a verb.
It's like, what are you doing? Tweeting.
Come on, dude.
Xing can also be translated into crossing. So, yeah, there's way too much going on there.
Sam says, be like if Google changed their name. Well, look, Facebook, they changed their name because I think, the Facebook brand is not exactly the best, and they wanted to break out of that on top of everybody saying Meta's the parent company. Guys, it was originally Facebook. Like Facebook was the parent company of everything. They just renamed it Meta. And so now Facebook is just its own wing like Instagram or anything else. But make no mistake, it was to get away from the brand hits that Facebook took during the last few years.
What happened to the cage match with Elon and Zuckerberg? Is that still happening?
I don't know. I mean, so every now and then through Twitter osmosis, through Xmosis, excuse me, I get videos of, is it Israel Adesanya? That's the fighter, right?
Yeah.
He's like living and training Mark Zuckerberg. Okay. And so they're like wake surfing. They're like in the gym constantly fighting. So I don't think Elon's putting in that work. I think Mark may actually be about that life. It seems like Mark is leaning into physical fitness right now. I think Elon's got some other ducks that he has to get in order before he fully commits.
Speaking of getting things in order before you do it, they were taking down the Twitter name from the building in San Francisco, and they made them stop because they did not have the proper permits to be able to take the name off the building yesterday. So it was for a long time.
I thought he said he was going to blowtorch it off. Maybe like they're going to take it off then blowtorch it, which seems aggressive. But he did sell that consumer flamethrower a couple of years ago. Fonz Fonzarelli says T-Bob Martin Truex Jr. Got a job in NASCAR driving for Dale Earnhardt Jr. because he beat him multiple times in iRacing. And Earnhardt Jr. watched him race and saw the lines he was taking. See, yeah, that's pretty cool. I did not know that. Again, I knew iRacing stuff was a big deal. I just always thought that people were good at like real racing first before the video game. Let's start a Cornhub VR space and call it Cornucopia. It's a great idea, Daniel. Welcome. You're in. Israel Adesanya and Volk are training Zuck, and St. Pierre offered to train Elon. I mean, I would watch that, right? Everybody would, right?
Yeah, I would.
Even though, like, who cares about the quality of the fight? You're watching because it's like Edison and Tesla being like, all right, let's fight about it then. When we get back, OTB mailbag coming up next.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Get 3.99% financing on select 2023 models, a large selection of pre-owned inventory. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Bayou Ford has $8,000 off MSRP, plus 1.9% financing on new 23 Ford F-150 XLT trucks, along with Bayou Ford's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR. The New Orleans Saints report for training camp. We'll have all the latest previews from New Orleans. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yo, let's do a little OTB mailbag.
Special delivery! I have this special delivery for Off the Bench. And look, it is marked most urgent.
We'll be writing to you.
The internet. What the is the internet?
Hashtag OTB mailbag. Y'all see Skeeds and Cruz both signed record-breaking contracts. Both got bonuses over $9 million. No rookie to ever sign more than $9 million. LSU got 2 of the same draft class. We did. We talked about the weekend winners. Congratulations. And again, like we said, massive win for Jay Johnson there on the Cruton Trail. Hashtag OTB mailbag. Is this week the doldrums of summer that I hear so much about? No.
We haven't had that this year.
Yeah, we kind of skipped past the doldrums thanks to LSU baseball.
Yeah.
And then SEC Media Days. Because really, it's like end of June, beginning of July when it's only professional baseball. Like, I don't think you can be in the doldrums when it's NFL report day.
No, I don't think so either. I think we just moved right past them because not only for the things that you said, and obviously those play LSU baseball, I mean, it was something that we got, 3-4 weeks out of.
Month out of. Then otherwise, what we've been talking about? Derek Carr.
Ooh.
Zion. You're lucky, Jake.
Thank you, Jay.
Count yourself. Count yourself lucky.
Thank you.
I would have found 18 more ways to break down
Yes.
Derek Carr's potential with the New Orleans Saints. Now we've only had to do it 4 times.
Yeah. Well, we typically have some shenanigans during that time too. Like we do more tier lists and some of our summer. We had a whole meeting on summer ideas
and then
for,
it became irrelevant.
for things that we could do that we're putting in the work, but obviously play for summertime. And LSU baseball just erased those, which they were great ideas, but I am thankful that LSU baseball obviously gave us an extra month.
Yeah. Hashtag OTB mailbag. What is everyone's favorite serious movie? Mine is Goodfellas.
Serious movie. Gosh, the first two that popped in my head, Memento and Prestige.
I've been watching a lot of dumb movies lately. I kind of got nothing.
I'd go The Revenant with Leo DiCaprio.
That's a good one.
Love that movie. Love Shawshank Redemption as well.
Oh, Django Unchained. Great film. That's a serious one.
Actually, that's kind of interesting. Are Tarantino movies serious?
That one I would say is a little bit of
but
both.
there's like a level of absurdity within them.
Nah.
Like there's definitely a lot of comedy in all of those as well.
I think it's serious. They even had the story of Leo that I know from that movie where he stabbed himself with a knife, a pen, I forgot what it was, and it was actual blood coming out. But he improvised and kept doing the scene with his real blood.
The memes to come out of Django are some of the all-time best memes. Very good movie. I mean, yeah, basically any Tarantino could go on this favorite list. Why am I blanking? I just got to pick something, right? I don't know why I can't think of anything. Right now.
Okay, I got one. Kind of deep, and don't want y'all to name names. Just talking about the situation here, okay?
All right.
Have y'all ever had a buddy get married, and you were kind of worried about that relationship, that marriage, but then years later it kind of worked out, and you were wrong?
Yes. Actually, yeah, absolutely. Very, very, very close friends in that exact situation.
Okay. I feel like that's a common thing, but I'm curious to see if the intuition is right, or if you should, believe in your friend.
It can go either way.
Okay.
A lot of my friends that I keep up with were already married like when we became friends. I only keep up with really like one guy from my high school. My guy's a loyal OTB listener. Shout out to Big Wayne.
Oh yeah, shout out Big Wayne.
But no, I don't really keep up with people that weren't married before, which is kind of weird. But I mean, I guess like even my roommate in college, Stelz, like he wasn't married, but he was.
Yeah. Yeah,
like he's kind of like us. Like he had been Lindsay since high school. So,
God, I gotta think of a movie eventually too. I had to say go to mailbag. I don't know why my brain's not working. Would you rather be a backup quarterback or a starting kicker?
Starting kicker. I want to play. I want to be on the field. I want to, and I know it's a meathead answer. I know backup quarterbacks make more money, and they can play like 10 years and play 6 games. But still, like, I want to be out there, and I want to be a part of the team, and I want to be able to help the team win.
I'd go backup quarterback, but the only reason I want to bring it up is also because there was a really good interview, actually, with Aaron and Chase Daniels talking about what goes into being a backup. And apparently, like, the reason why Chase Daniel made it so long is, like, on Monday – whoever the starter is shows up, and Chase Daniels already broken down all the blitz protections for that week, all the calls. Like, he's already done all of the busy work. Like, on top of being a good enough player to beat out guys and remain the second best option on the team, you have to go so far above and beyond to give yourself worth to the coaching staff. I don't know why I find that so fascinating. I just find that very cool that, like, there's a true art. It's not just being the second best quarterback on the roster. There's a lot more that you can do to be one of those.
A huge trust factor, too.
Yes.
Like, you can do all those things, and you're right, like, endear yourself to the quarterback, but the quarterback has to trust that what you're giving him is something that he can take to the football field. And I've seen it play out where it's not, but if you have that guy, you're going to stay. Now, when you get your opportunity, and I always go to my guy, Billy Bolick, like, he got his opportunity and threw for over 500 yards in a game.
Yeah, balled out. Who can forget?
Like, so he got his opportunity and did enough to where he could be that trusted backup quarterback for a long time. Made a lot of money.
Yeah, you may not be a starter, but you're still a professional. You're still getting paid millions of dollars at the most important position on the field. Still got to act accordingly.
I'm going backup QB. First off, kicker would be way too nerve-wracking for me. I don't want all that pressure on me because if I miss the kick, because all right, if I throw a pass, it gets tipped and it gets picked off, whatever. If I miss that kick, it's on me. And to your point, Chase Daniel told a story about how Mahomes told a story about him about how Chase Daniel really helped him adjust in the NFL. And he told Andy Reid, he's like, we got to keep re-signing this guy. I need Chase Daniel on this roster.
Around,
he's like, I need Chase Daniel.
It is a little bit of a double-edged sword about the kicker portion because, yes, if you miss 2 in a row, you're gone. But also you get 1,000 opportunities.
You do.
Every Monday there's a kicker out there when you walk onto the – because Monday, we talked about this before. That's when everybody tries out. Now, even if you don't sign anybody, they'll have guys out there, kickers. Hope it's not fullbacks when you're walking to the meeting room. But you'll get more opportunities, so you can maybe stay longevity-wise. You'll get multiple chances.
Well, and with the risk of being the loser also comes the risk of getting carried off. I mean, you also could get the reward of being carried off on the shoulders of your teammates as a hero.
Yeah.
But I'm a little, I would prefer the more comfortable backup quarterback.
Justin Tucker, the greatest kicker of all time?
Yeah.
I mean, in a world where we got Vinatieri knocking in, but in a world where we got Vinatieri knocking in multiple game-winning Super Bowl kicks. And
Most clutch kicker, Vinatieri.
And you got Morton Anderson
Look, that was not rhetorical.
20+ years. I'm just saying, show the great.
I've lost a playoff game because Justin Tucker nailed a 47-yarder right down the middle. He's got the record for longest kick.
Yeah.
He's got the highest percentage of kicks made in NFL history.
Yeah, but he missed that extra point against the Saints.
Hell yeah.
What a bum.
Isn't that good?
Look, I love a lot of these questions, so I want to get back to them, but we got Andy next, so let's go ahead and go to break, and maybe we can revisit some of the best of these at the end of the hour. Andy Staples from On 3 coming up next.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
225-206-1517. Every single day I rattle off that number. It's Thomas' email cell phone number. Thomas is from Riverlands Insurance, and I don't care what your insurance needs are. You want to call this number. Why? Because, guys, there is not an easier way to save money. It's actually not hyperbole. Because you call this number, you give them some information, and then they go out and they save you hundreds to thousands of dollars. We're continuously getting hit up with people who have done this and are very grateful to Thomas. Join that crew by joining one of the, and it can be any type of insurance, 225-206-1517.
Any type of insurance, any location in the state of Louisiana. So don't allow the 225 area code to let you assume that it's only here in the Baton Rouge area. Anywhere in the state, call Thomas today. In fact, you can call him right now. He's going to pick up 225-206-1517.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
This summer, retirement is a state of mind. Whether it's a mid-morning activity or an early bird special, grab a Coors Light and chill like you're retired. Are you with me?
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done, or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go? Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR. The New Orleans Saints report for training camp. We'll have all the latest previews from New Orleans. Join us 3 to 6. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to OTB. Right now, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome on a good friend of both the hosts here in the college football space, and that is Andy Staples. Andy_Staples on X.
It's the artist
we calling
formerly
it that
known as Twitter.
Yes. Oh my God, guys! I just realized these headphones don't really work. Jake, you and Andy talk. I gotta go get new headphones.
That's just the high level of execution that we have here on Off the Bench. Andy, looking great as always. Hope you're well. Had a chance to see you there in Nashville. Hopefully, the first show went well because that was actually the first show that you did for On 3, correct?
Yes, the Monday of last week was my first show, and we have successfully produced 6 since then. So feeling good. Haven't just gone off the air completely. No test pattern yet. So I think I'm going to keep my job.
So like, how was that? How nerve-wracking was that? Because if you were like at your studio that you're going to do the show every single day, there's some nerves, but you've tested the equipment, it's going to work there. I mean, there was real internet issues in Nashville a couple of different times. Like, how sweaty were the palms?
It wasn't that bad because we chose not to stream live specifically because we didn't know what the internet was like. So we've been going live from here where I know what the internet's going to be. But yeah, we didn't do that. I was not gonna risk that.
Before we get into college football, Andy, give me a little bit of you here because obviously you were kind of in a lot of ways at the head of the college football division at The Athletic, which is an incredible division of college football minds. And yet here comes Shannon Terry once again, doing it again, creating a new website. But you're not traditionally like a recruiting guy. So what was kind of the idea behind moving to On 3?
The idea was do the show I was doing, but do it at On 3. Yeah. Because they wanted something that kind of captured the whole world of college football and that was a more general interest, not just aimed toward the recruitniks. And what I think we can do is kind of bridge the gap between the fans that aren't worried about recruiting and the recruitniks, because everybody loves it. They just all love it in a different way. And I feel like now we can kind of give it to every group that loves college football.
Okay, now let's dive into college football then, Andy. Were you at all surprised that on the other side of Media Day, that Alabama is picked by the media to win the West, despite the fact that, like, if you look at something like the first team, you have the LSU has a quarterback, left tackle, wide receiver, interior defensive lineman, linebacker on the first team alone. Were you surprised that Alabama still won the overall team vote to win the West?
I thought it was going to be LSU, and I do think as time went on, and if you'd done it maybe a month earlier, I think LSU would have won that one. But I think as time went on, people were like, wait a second, Alabama's still really good. Mm-hmm. They've been stacking good recruiting classes. What we're worried about is the quarterback situation. We've seen them in this situation before. 2015 is probably a good example of this situation where we had no idea going into camp who the starter was going to be, and they didn't really know either. And we thought it might be Jake Coker. It ended up being Jake Coker, but then they tried Cooper Bateman. They still ended up winning the national title that year because they were loaded and they didn't need a Superman at quarterback. Now, the question is, do you have to have that Superman at quarterback? And I guess this kind of asks how you feel about Stetson Bennett is that next question, because he just won 2 of them. I don't think he's going to start in the NFL this year. Maybe if Matthew Stafford gets hurt, but he wasn't a first-round draft pick, and the thought was, you need a Trevor Lawrence or somebody like that, or a Bryce Young to win a national title. But maybe you don't. Maybe you just need really good players and a guy who is capable of operating your offense. Now, it's still a question of whether Alabama has somebody who can operate their offense effectively, because what we saw in the spring game was that neither Jalen Milroe nor Tyus Simpson was ready to grab that job. That's why they brought in Tyler Buckner. And so here we sit. LSU, meanwhile, sits in a different situation where They're very confident in Jaden Daniels. And then, oh, by the way, there's Garrett Nussmeier in case anything goes wrong. It's a very different situation for LSU. But if like you listen to Brian Kelly, he's very clear about where their depth is relative to Alabama or Georgia. And he's, of the mind that they need another recruiting class to get there.
Andy, was there a team or teams that you kind of thought you knew who they were heading to Nashville, and maybe you had your mind changed, good, bad, or indifferent, the week you were there?
Not really. I mean, Alabama has a chip on the shoulder that's legit. Like, they don't have to make it up this time. You don't have to manufacture anything. So I do think that's interesting. But other than that, everybody's basically what we thought they were. And even if they weren't, they're not going to tell us anything interesting at media days. They want to surprise people on the field. So I do think we still really in the West beneath Alabama and LSU. Those next 5, we don't know. A&M is more talented than the rest of that group. But until A&M proves they can beat Auburn, Mississippi State, Ole Miss when they're supposed to, I still lump them in the same category. And so, like, you look at Auburn, Arkansas, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, all the games they'll play against each other, until I see some stuff on the field that changes my mind, I'm looking at all those as toss-up games.
Andy, it's always interesting, and we'll stick with the SEC for a second, but it's always interesting to watch the collective kind of hive mind, how it forms opinions on teams. And when it comes to Florida right now, the hive mind is about as low as I've ever seen it, right? But so, I'm guessing that you're more tapped into kind of the local opinions and the local view of the situation. What is the current belief or state? Because, I mean, we sit here and we're like, we could see Florida finishing last in the East or sixth or fifth, like, or they might struggle to get to 6 games. Is that kind of the local feeling as well, or is it a bit more bullish?
I think it's pretty low, but I don't think it's that low. I don't think anybody's thinking last in the East. I think what the thought is they're going to be pretty average, and that infuriates Florida fans. They're not happy about this. They don't like the idea that you should be hoping that you're just average or hoping that you're an 8-4 team, which 8-4 is a pretty big leap for this team. It's just, but that's where they are. That's where their roster was at. I think you can relitigate last year and say that Billy Napier should have flipped the roster sooner. He should have done what Lincoln Riley did when he got to USC instead of doing that this season. And then you could have had Anthony Richardson with a different group of players. But I don't know. You can't do that now. The choice was made, and that's what happened. Billy Napier has time because they don't pay giant buyouts at Florida. So he's not – I don't think he's going into the season worried he's going to get fired. He's $31 million buyout if they were to try to make a change after this season. They're not doing that. So he's got time to build it however he wants to. And they've told him, hey, look, we want you to build a roster that can compete with what Georgia's doing and what Alabama's doing and what LSU's doing. And the only way to do that is to get really good high school players. And you look at them right now in the rankings right now, they're 4th in the team rankings for the class of 2024, which is where they want to be. They want to be in top 5, top 10, but top 5 sometimes. And so I think it's going the way that he would like it to go. On the field, though, they're going to go nuts. The fans are going to go nuts if they're sitting there and they're a 5-7 or a 6-6 team. Like, they need to win some games that they're not going to be favored in. Like, when Tennessee comes to Gainesville, if they could win that would be huge. But that's the situation. And I think what it's going to look like is people will gauge how they feel about this team by whether the young guys emerge. If by the end of the season, are they feisty against the teams they're not supposed to beat? Are they beating teams they are supposed to beat? And then are the young players the best players? If they are, they're going to feel pretty good about it. If they're not, then you're going to hear a lot of grumbling. And then this next offseason is going to be miserable.
Hey, staying in the East, obviously Georgia's going to be, the top team, and they are going to receive every single vote. But, like, what's in that next tier? Because for me, I've got Kentucky, Tennessee, and South Carolina in that next tier. Where do you kind of have that? Is Tennessee going to challenge? Is Kentucky going to challenge? Who would you put in that next tier?
Well, see, I like the way you put that, Hester, because I think most people are looking at it like there's a Georgia tier, a Tennessee tier, and an everybody else tier. And I think yours is a little more accurate because we don't know how Tennessee will respond to losing a first-round offensive tackle, a really good edge rusher. The in the trenches part of Tennessee is the part I would be more concerned about. I think Joe Milton's going to be fine at quarterback. I think they're going to be able to throw the ball pretty well. But can they run the ball as well as they did, which made that offense pretty unstoppable at times? So that's the one. And then Kentucky feels like the one that can improve the most from last year, because Liam Cohen back as OC. Devin Leary, we were sitting here last year, and NC State was sending out hats with a Heisman campaign. And this is a guy with NFL tools. He can be a very good quarterback. He just needs to be used properly and be healthy. He's healthy now. And Liam Cohen showed you with Will Levis that first year where they were together that he does pretty well with a guy with an NFL arm.
Zach says, breaking down Florida football wearing a tank top. This is premier radio. I agree. Andy, you continue.
No jean shorts. This is my Han Solo tank top.
Okay.
Did it for you, T-Bob?
Well, so I couldn't see the picture on. I didn't know it was Han, but that's actually where I wanted to go with you next. Oh, look at that, dude. I know, one of the greatest all-time improv lines in cinematic history. I also learned the other day that in Last Crusade, Andy, when Sean Connery says she talks in her sleep, that was an improv line. So shout out another good line.
Sharp.
I agree. How about this, though? Where do you stand with your current Star Wars fandom? I that's very general, but yeah, where are you right now?
I'm satisfied, more excited for Miss Rosario Dawson.
Yes.
Than I have been, because I was a big Clone Wars fan. I never got into Rebels for whatever reason.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why, but I find that period of the Clone Wars between episode 2 and episode 3 to be one of the more interesting times in that universe's history. So, because the Clone Wars gives you the context. So when Anakin breaks bad, you actually feel it.
100%.
And so now his Padawan has her own show. Like, that's going to be fun. And I love the idea of the live action version of that show.
I'm very excited about Ahsoka. I'm kind of on the fence about I'm feeling a little bit oversaturated otherwise. But I do feel you. Like, this is Dave Filoni's baby. This entire new era has kind of been Dave Filoni. And I know that they're going to put everything they can into making it so good. And Andor was awesome. I mean, Andor was just a legitimately great show. Maybe featured the best Star Wars monologue in history, with Luthen Rail up there talking about, what have I sacrificed? Everything. It's just an all-timer, dude. Andy, Chad is very disappointed you didn't have jorts on.
I have not owned jorts since the spring of 1997. Damn. I remember after my freshman year of college, going through my stuff as I was packing up my dorm room, and be like, I think I'm done with jorts.
Yeah.
I think it's over. And ironically, that was still several months before the first skaters wear jean shorts chant, which happened outside the Florida-Georgia game in 1997. Some drunk Georgia students noticed a stereotypical Florida fan in the jorts, in the tank top, with a mullet, and just laughed and said, "Ha! Gators wear jean shorts." And suddenly hundreds of people around them were chanting it as they walked into the stadium. And the guy who first said it is a lawyer. And his first job, he worked in Tampa, and all of his bosses were Florida grads.
Oh, my God. You see, that's how you know Andy's a real journalist. I had no idea that was even a story that you could get to the root of. Andy Staples, now at On3. Check out the Andy Staples Show. Andy_Staples on X.com. Andy, thank you so much, man.
See you guys.
Thanks,
later,
Andy.
brother.
It's kind of like LSU fans smell like corn dogs. Like, somebody starts it just takes off, and then it became a thing.
Did that start with the Katy Perry thing, or was there already a thing before that?
I think it was a thing on message boards, right? I had never heard it until Katy Perry.
Yeah.
No, I went to the North Carolina game when y'all played them in like 2011.
Oh, it was all the way back then?
Yeah, somebody
called
me a corn dog, and I got really confused.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, we smell like corn dogs.
You were like,
those are delicious.
Yeah.
I mean, I like corn
are
dogs.
you being racist, or is this an LSU thing?
That's definitely where my mind went. Yeah.
I can't exactly tell right now.
Really aggressive for a North Carolina LSU football game, by the way. I wonder how that guy's doing.
Shout out UNC. They almost won that game.
They almost beat y'all, man.
Yeah.
TJ Yates.
They had
almost.
They had a dumbass holding call on me that would have put the game out of reach. Absolutely pathetic. All right, when we get back, is that big bug-eyed ref, Tom Ritter.
Come on, Tom.
I hate that guy.
Closing out hour 2 next.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
God, his big old stupid bug eyes. I'll never forget him.
Tom Ritter.
All-Star Toyota, BatonRouge.com. All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. I believe his name's Tom Ritter. Tell me if you recognize him.
That's right. It is Tom Ritter.
There you go. You go to All-Star Toyota, you'll never get screwed over in the same way that Ritter used to all the time. Look at this. Change.org petition, ban SEC official Tom Ritter.
Oh, yeah. I know to say Tom.
All-Star Toyota, though. Again, the opposite of Tom Ritter.
Yeah. Consistent.
Always
makes the right call.
Integrity.
Yeah.
No conflicting interests in terms of maybe where one of their children rumoredly went to school. All-Star Toyota is the absolute best, and they're right there off Airline Highway. Go to allstartoyotabatonrouge.com today.
Yeah, once you get that website, you'll have the ability to customize your vehicle. You can certainly check for those leases and rentals that we always talk about, and the full fleet is available. You're not going to get that anywhere else. allstartoyotabatonrouge.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,500 off MSRP on all new 23 Ram 1500 Laramie trucks in stock. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Get 3.99% financing on select 2023 models at Corval Toyota in Opelousas. And we also have a large selection of pre-owned inventory. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR. The New Orleans Saints report for training camp. We'll have all the latest previews from New Orleans. Join us 3 to 6, 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome back to OTB. This is insane. We got Nick Underhill kicking off hour 3. We're going to be short here because I want to get to talk to Andy there. This is breaking news. DJ Hernandez, brother of Aaron Hernandez, has been arrested for a 4th time this year, this time for planning school shootings, according to the latest arrest warrant. And he is like cheesing in his mugshot.
How old is this guy?
That's mental. That's mental health. That's
God, I'm looking at the picture now.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. I don't know if it's older brother, younger brother. We don't need to dive into the story. It just broke like 30 minutes ago and it kind of blew my mind just now. When I read it. PCB says T-Bob, LSU fans smell like corn dogs was released as far back as 2004. Okay, so I didn't even realize that. So it's been a long time we've been in the corn dog game. I can't believe that Andy managed to track down how the actual jort thing started. OTB maybe like flour or corn tortillas. Corn if you're at a legitimate Mexican place. Mm-hmm. Flour if you're like anywhere where you're not sure if they're really going to make
flour if you're buying like in store. Corn if you're at a good restaurant.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, flour like 95% of the time.
Yeah, probably you're right. Yeah, probably unless again it takes a real legitimate taco place for me to want the corn
I'm going flour all the time.
Really?
I just don't
Never
like the corn
corn
as
tortilla?
much.
Oh man, I mean a good corn tortilla. I think it's way easier for a flour tortilla to be good, but I think at their peak, I actually do think a corn tortilla will beat a flour if they're both at their max potential.
DJ Hernandez was a coach at Iowa.
What?
Mm-hmm. Looking right now, he played football at UConn. Was an assistant at Iowa.
The family's got some problems, Bill.
Yeah.
What's worse, people who list their height or political affiliation on their social media bios? Political affiliation, because they're immediately just kind of throwing out like a little jab, little try me, bro.
Somebody puts their height on their social media?
Not me. No,
yeah,
sir.
I don't know. I guess maybe like tall people, but that's kind of like a D-bag move.
I definitely see the political thing a lot more.
Yeah. I agree. What's one arcade game you see? Nick Underhill next.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to Patient Plus Urgent Care, patientplusuc.com, where you will see the difference. Quality care for life's unexpected moments. You want to get in, get better? Well, there's a bunch of ways you can do that. You can schedule your visit online at patientplusuc.com. You can go ahead and create that digital profile. So when you show up, it's just a sign in. You just touch a button on your phone, and you're good to go. Or you just walk in and you just go in your Maps app, put in Patient Plus. They got locations littered throughout the city, more opening up constantly. And just trust me when I tell you, you're going to be blown away because you've never been to an urgent care this nice. And that carries over into occupational medicine. So if you're a business and any of your OcMed needs, you want to go to Patient Plus as well, patientplusuc.com.
Go to the website and find the location that is near you in the Baton Rouge area. They are all about convenience, and we all know that things happen at an inconvenient time, but they are here to help you in those situations. Go to the website today, patientplusuc.com. Get in and get better.
Here at Corval Toyota in Opelousas, we have in stock 2023 Toyota Tundras, and you can get $1,000 special edition bonus cash. $1,000 bonus cash. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Make this summer your backyard party year with Chris's Specialty Foods. Wings, burgers, brisket, steak, and boudin, plus great Cajun side dishes. We do all the prep, and you enjoy laughing with friends and family. Chris's Specialty Foods, Millerville, New Orleans, Prairieville, and Frisco.
Everybody loves Chris's authentic Cajun meat.
There it is, is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Good morning, everybody. It is 9 a.m. on Tuesday, July 25th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect sunny skies with a high of 97. Coming up on OTBOT, Nick Underhill of NewOrleans.football joins the show to talk Saints. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. OTBOT, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo. Weekly New Orleans Saints updates with Nick Underhill on OTB are brought to you by former LSU Tiger and attorney Chris Perrette.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome back to OTB. It's our pleasure to once again talk to our guy, Nick Underhill. We talked to him Friday. Friday was really a celebration of the journey of New Orleans football. Again, New Orleans football is the site if you want to get all of your black and gold coverage. Well worth the sub, in my opinion. I've been a proud subscriber for a couple of years. Big things on the way as well, constantly expanding. So again, really big things going over there at NOF. Today, though, we're going to talk Saints because it is Bet Report Day. And Nick, last night, you tweeted something that, to an outside observer, would seem like a nothing burger, but is actually a massive deal. And that is that Michael Thomas expected to be a full participant day one of training camp.
Well, nothing burger, man. I got the text and I pumped my fist because I thought I got like a huge piece of news, man. Oh, that's killing me.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like if I'm like a fan of the Raiders or something, and I hear like, okay, Michael Thomas available for camp, I'm like, okay, sure. Like, why wouldn't he be? I feel like you can only pump your fist if you have lived through the Mike Thomas saga.
That's fair. No, look, I mean, I think it's a huge thing, and I think perspective is definitely needed. Anytime you're talking about Mike, like if Mike starts out healthy, that's great. But it's is he healthy next week? Is he healthy in week 8? Is he healthy in week 13, 17 playoffs? Like I don't think there's ever going to be a point this season, maybe even next season, where you fully exhale and kind of take that for granted. And that's just the reality of missing basically 3 seasons or not being healthy at all for 3 seasons. So I think it's a day-by-day thing. But, look, you got to start somewhere, and I think the starting point of being healthy is better than the starting point of not being healthy. So, I think it's a big deal. But, the things that come after this are the things that are going to determine, really, how Mike's season goes. But, look, I'm expecting him to be good. And, look, I think people are speaking more optimistically about him this year than other years, even last year. Like, there's just kind of a sense of maybe this could be the moment where he gets back on track. I think it kind of needs to be. It feels like a crossroads. And, I do believe that he's kind of on the right side of the road right now, but we'll see where it goes.
If you ask the Saints, hey, I want you to say this is how I want the receiver room to finish in yards and receptions at the end of the year, and they got 3 spots to fill with 3 players, what would 1, 2, and 3 look like ideally for the Saints?
Man, that's a fascinating question. I think if they're all healthy throughout the whole year, I think Mike might lead in receptions, but I think Olave might lead in yardage. I think he's going to kind of demand that a little bit. And I think Mike being out there is just going to open stuff up. And that opens up a couple more shots down the field. I think Derek Carr can hit those with, a lot of ease, and you get a little bit more favorable coverage out there. It's going to open things up. But I do think, I think your best configuration of that room is Mike healthy for the whole season, and he's Mike Thomas. Like, people kind of forget that, there was a time where he was potentially like a top 10 receiver all time, like on the path to it. And I don't know if that's still there, but the guy that was there the first 3 weeks of last season was really damn good, and he was rusty. Like, he wasn't even back into the flow of things. So it was going to get better. So if you can get Mike back to 80% of what he was, I think he's better than a lot of guys' number 1 receiver. So, I think the best configuration would be, Mike's your alpha guy. Chris Olave's like maybe the best number 2 receiver in the league, and then Rashid Shaheed's your 3rd guy. And if that's how it's playing out throughout the season, I think the Saints are going to be a really good team. Like, I think Mike's important enough that if you told me he's playing 15 to 17 games, I might increase my win total by 1.5, 2. I think he's really that important to the offense.
Well, and you mentioned top 10 all time. I don't know that I've ever seen a career be on such a Hall of Fame trajectory and then just kind of come to such an abrupt halt. Another guy who was on a Hall of Fame trajectory, and maybe he still is, right? But he's dealt with some of his own issues the past couple of years, is Ryan Ramczyk. And really, I want to extend this question to the entire offensive line, Nick, because right now, this is a Saints team where you're actually pretty damn well constructed in a lot of different places, right? And it's a bit ironic because you've committed a lot of resources to the offensive line, but I do feel that's maybe where your biggest question marks are the entire team are, between Penning, how will Reeves play, Pete. I mean, where does Hurst factor in? Is Ramczyk back to, again, multi-all-pro Ramczyk? What's your view on this Saints offensive line?
I think it's maybe the spot where the season's built or it folds. Because I think the question marks are that big. And if Penning's just not that guy, we don't know yet. We haven't really seen it. He should be. Maybe he will be. He was raw. He wasn't able to really play, on the line last year. And when he was out there as the 6th blocker, there was some inconsistencies. So I think there's a lot to prove there. I think he has all the tools to be really good. Ruiz was on the right trajectory last year, descending. There were times where I was legitimately excited to watch him play because he was just doing things so well. But you have a significant foot injury, and it's 1 year. You got to keep showing that you can be that guy and come back from it, and it's not going to be an issue. I do think one thing that could help the line as a whole is having a more consistent quarterback. We had Sean Armstead on our show, and he was talking about just how when you have that, when you have someone like Drew that's just dropping, every time it's 7-step drop, it's the same drop. You don't have to look at him. You just block to a spot, and there's just things you can do when you can take that for granted. They didn't have that last year. And I think Carr probably is someone that's a little bit cleaner with that than Andy Dalton. So I think that's something that's going to probably help the line as a whole too. And look, I think just having some better weapons is going to help as well. You get more guys getting open, more, quickly. The ball can come out quicker. You don't have to block as long. One of the things that I think helped the line in 17-18 when we were talking about them on this historic run of lack of pressures, and guys would get hurt, they'd go out, and someone would step in, and you'd see no change, and be like, oh my God, they're so deep on the line, it doesn't even matter who plays. Like, that was almost a narrative. Like, well, the reason it didn't matter who was playing on the line is because Drew was throwing the ball in like 2.1 second. You know, so like you can't really get a pressure in that amount of time. So he was doing so much to protect them. You know, I think the quarterback setting some of those protections too, having a say in it, is going to be something that helps clean everything up a little bit. So I think just the structure of the offense should help the line be a little bit better. But health is so huge in that group. And it's a little bit easier to take things for granted when Tron Armstead's your left tackle, and it's like, yeah, he might miss 6 games, but you're going to have him, for 11. Like, I think that's a major difference. Whereas the guy at left tackle now, it's like, is he good or is he not? Like, he has injury issues as well that he needs to prove. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I think they need to prove positively for this team to be what it could be this year.
All right, so if you take Derek Carr in the quarterback position out of this conversation, which player has to stay healthy this entire season for the Saints to have the season they want to?
It's maybe Demario Davis, I think.
That's what we said earlier, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you take him out. Like, I like Pete Werner, but then who's the next guy? I think that's a huge one, and that's one where I don't really see the other guys where they can kind of play around it. Before last season, I would have said Marshawn, but I guess they were fine without him and had one of the better pass rushes in the NFL. Or, I'm sorry, pass coverages in one of the NFL, but I think putting Marshawn back out there is something that's going to be huge too, with helping the D-line actually get some pressure, and it might help some of those guys get to the quarterback now and then, because I don't think the talent's great there either. We need to see a lot of guys snap up, but yeah, I think it would definitely be Demario. You tell me he's out for 10 games, like I'm scared of what the defense would be.
Talking Nick Underhill, Nick_Underhill on X.com. You can. I'm trying to work my tongue around it. It still feels very unwieldy. I'm trying though. Apparently,
it feels like it sounds like I'm peddling smut. Like when you say
I know. Why did they do X? I mean, I know why, because apparently, like, Elon tried to make X.com way back in the day. It's what eventually became PayPal, but so he's trying again. But I agree with you. Like, the internet is 90% porn. You cannot do X.com. I mean, there's literally X and XX.com, Xvideos.com. Like, it's just absurd. Nick, so vet report day tomorrow, practice day after that. I believe a public practice sometime the next 2 days after that. What are you most chewing on here at the opening of camp? What storylines? What are you most into?
I mean, kind of everything, man. Like, those first 2 days, like, there's no pads. When pads come out, like, eyes are on Brzee, Nathan Shepard, Colin Saunders, Foskey, Peyton Turner. I mean, like, I think that's a huge one. And then, but I think day one, it's just kind of going out there and seeing who's out there, who's healthy, how are these guys moving. Like, I hate to keep bringing up Mike, but like, first day we go out there, Mike's out there. Like, I'm probably going to spend the first 15 minutes of practice just watching him, seeing how he's moving, seeing what he's doing, because I really don't think anything more important. And I really do truly believe, like, he's someone that could swing the season with his health. So that's a huge one. But it's Ruiz and Penning after that too. Like, I got to see, like, how these guys are moving. Like, Penning is such a big block on this team that they just gotta find a way to make him work. And it's probably unfair to speak about him with this level of doubt, but without seeing, like, any progress, without him actually being on the field, like, showing that he's picked up fundamentals and all this stuff, like, it's hard to take it for granted. And, I think that was the big learning lesson from last year, is that, you got to be a little bit more cautious with how you talk about things, because the things we used to take for granted, like, this aren't as simple without Drew Brees and Sean Payton. It's just, not everything works out all the time for every team in the NFL when you don't have a Hall of Fame coach and a Hall of Fame quarterback. So I got to see some of these things shake positively. But, yeah, I think those are the biggest stories going out there immediately are those guys. And then, the other thing that I'm, like, probably most interested in is the Adebo-Alontae Taylor cornerback battle.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be, like, kind of one of the premier things of the summer. And it's going to be, interesting just to see how they elevate one another. The hard thing with evaluating that is there aren't officials out there, and I think that really the only hurdle for Adebo is to not get penalized the way he did. So that's going to be a little hard to evaluate, but I think that's probably going to be, like, the premier thing throughout camp.
Anything, Nick, from Trey Turner visiting the Saints yesterday?
It kind of made me wonder about the health of everybody a little bit. You start looking at some guys, it makes you wonder, where the health situations are. Saldivari came off the injured list, so that's a good thing for him. Kendrick Miller did too, so that's another good thing.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're kind of still in that market, it's probably unfair to feel unsettled. But again, like, we're kind of have blinders up right now on where everybody's at. So you see someone coming in, and it's kind of like, well, I don't know. But that's probably more related to Billy Price. He just had an injury in his physical, and they got an open spot. So that's probably more related to that than anything else.
Yeah, Adam Schefter tweeted 2 minutes ago the Saints are signing former Pro Bowl guard. There we go. Trey Turner to a 1-year deal.
Okay.
Official now.
There we go.
So how do you react to that, Nick? Does that further the questions that you had about maybe health and everything else?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's something that I'm looking at until we get out there. I mean, it's just a little unsettling with that offensive line right now. Just being totally honest.
I agree. It's a make or break.
Yeah,
it's make or break for the year.
I'm scared of him a little bit. And if Trey Turner, like, no offense to the, he's a local, like, if that's an answer, you got a problem. But I don't think it's probably going to end up being there. I think they're probably going to end up figuring things out. But yeah, I think it's just rotating depth and all that stuff. But yeah, until we see him out there, like, I was kind of hearing yesterday, and I'm not 100% like sure what it's going to look like on day one. But if I had to place a bet right now, like, it feels like maybe Cesar Ruiz is going to be a little bit slow to start camp, but things are trending in the right direction. So I mean, that's probably one thing too. So it's just going to be a process, I think, until seeing the assumed 5 starters are out there on the field together.
There's the breadcrumb trail that we were looking for. All right. So it's interesting. I mean, we literally had a segment in the first hour about kind of the O-line being the thing that could launch you into maybe being a team that's capable of winning playoff game and or games or missing the playoffs entirely. And, well, this is all just fed into that. Nick Underhill. At Nick_Underhill. Nick, what do y'all got plans-wise for New Orleans football over the next few weeks?
Oh, man, it's just we're just trying to change the way people kind of cover a team. We got 2 videographers, photographer from the Associated Press is on our team now. We got a guy directing everything social media-wise, 3 podcasts a week, all our written coverage. Big news coming next Monday on something else, but we're gonna just keep trying to grow and build. And when people support us, we put it back into the product, and I think you can actually see it. You look at what we're doing, the quality, all that stuff. I hope it all reflects that. Our thing is, like, we just want when people invest in us, like, they're feeling like they're investing in better coverage of their favorite team. Yep. And I don't take that responsibility lightly. And if you aren't signed up, use the code CAMP23, 20% off your first payment.
Okay, there you go. CAMP23. Promo code CAMP23, New Orleans Football. Go sign up today. Nick, thanks so much, man, and enjoy the week.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. Saints can't begin. You can tell, man, Nick is fired up right now.
Not many people want to go stand out in 97-degree weather with all the humidity. Nick's running to go stand in that right now.
He loves it. All right, more OTB coming up next.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
CentralPlumbing.org, 925-8552, CentralPlumbing.org. CentralPlumbing.org. Look, 24/7 emergency service, flat rate pricing, licensed, bond insured, 50 years of experience. You cannot hit them with a problem they don't know how to solve. You can't hit them with a time. They can't come out. Like, look, they are there for you no matter what. It's customer first over there at Central Plumbing. And plumbing's hard, man. Maybe you're do-it-yourself or you can get on YouTube, do some things. I like to do that. I mean, I get it. It's fun. It does become a question of time. But with plumbing, it gets a little hairy, right? That gets let's take a level up. So do what I do. Don't think twice. Pick up the phone. Call Central Plumbing. Get your problem solved quickly, safely, effectively, cheaply. Get ready to go. CentralPlumbing.org, CentralPlumbing.org. Affordably, I think is the word you should use.
Cheaply. You go to the homepage, CentralPlumbing.org. There you'll see everything they can do for you if it's not an emergency. So if you're looking to upgrade the bathroom at home, the restroom at your business, they can certainly come in and do that. If you want to go tankless with a tankless water heater, we always talk about that. Never run out of hot water again. Check it out online, CentralPlumbing.org.
OTB, OT.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, It's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street. And the Government Taco Totalitarian Package gets you 2 tacos and your choice of queso or salsa with chips and a fountain drink for just $12. And pick up Margarita Go Cup tumblers and bring it back for 10% off refills. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street. If you have a big gathering or work event coming up, give the crowd something you know they will love. Tacos from Government Taco. They offer pickup, delivery, and full-service catering. Choose from proteins including the spicy and sweet smoked chicken, smoked pulled pork, or the sweet and savory chili rub ground beef. Then sides like charred tomatillo salsa, roasted hatch chili queso, and all catering orders come with jack cheese, pickled red onions, and flour or corn tortillas. Order online now at govttaco.com. In tacos we trust. Government Taco.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR. The New Orleans Saints report for training camp. We'll have all the latest previews from New Orleans. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Uh-oh. Somebody's triggered about Barbie in the chat. Seen some of this online.
What about?
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, so yeah.
It's not worth getting into.
Just chill, man. Have a Bud Light.
Yeah, exactly right. Just chill, dude. Just chill. Have a Coors Light. But remember though, no, I get one more, but a non-political Coors Light, okay? Once again, I hate that you all have politicized my domestic beer choice, okay?
Yeah, we've push
always
Coors
liked
Light.
Coors Light. We've always liked Coors Light, okay? I like to ride the silver bullet. There's nothing to do with any sort of political leanings one way or another. Because, you know me, I think it probably would be more in the Bud Light family. The Pelicans.
But drink Coors Light.
Yeah, but drink Coors Light, obviously.
Maybe at the Smoothie King Center.
I mean, it's crazy. After years and years of like going down the, you know, the craft beer road, I have this past year, ever since I started doing the show with Jake, it's been coming on more and more, but especially the past year, I've really refound my love of domestic light beer by way of Coors Light. Like on Fridays now, instead of drinking champagne, having a couple of Coors just goes down so smooth. That mountain fridge we have in there keeps them so cold. There's just something to be said for a couple light beers.
By the way, that is like the coolest mini fridge I've ever seen.
I know.
I was passing by your office this morning, doors open, I saw it sitting there. So
it
cool.
looks like a piece of the aggro crag.
Yeah.
By the way, that office is about to get a lot cooler once we move all this stuff in too. If anybody wants to come see me on the chess table, I'll have a couple chess sets set up in there.
I know.
Pretty soon here.
I bought that banner forever ago. We got to put that thing up.
Yeah, we got to do a lot of work in there, but eventually, you know, we'll see. You know, Coors Light Golden Factory gets their water for Coors Light from Trans Mountain Pipelines. I don't know what that means. New Pelicans uniforms. That's it. That's where I wanted to go. Pelicans just dropped a video. I guess the NBA is doing statement uniforms now. Let's live react to this. I saw it online. I just want to see what y'all think. Here are, and this is with sound. All right. Here's the new video the Pelicans just dropped.
The state of mind. My New Orleans state of mind. My New Orleans state of mind. My New Orleans state of mind.
Okay, so
wow,
I like the song. I like they got Jose Alvarado to model it. I like the theory behind going after the crescent shape to the point of doing the crescent roll, the crescent bend on the words, the crescent logo at the end there. Where's the difference in the uniform? I don't know.
It just says Crescent City instead of
It just says Crescent City, which I like as well. Like I like the idea of a Crescent City instead of New Orleans. That's cool.
Something different, a nickname for the city, a moniker. At least it's not just New Orleans across the chest.
No, I agree. Like I like all of that, except like I guess it changes if every other NBA statement uniform is just the same uniform with like different wording. But if other uniforms are actually like a little bit more designed, I might be a little upset because that's just a Pelicans red uniform, right?
I see your point. I was honestly mesmerized by the video and the Currency music.
Look,
I'm not going to say I don't like that.
That's what I'm saying. Shout out Currency. Well done video. Great vibes all around. But like that's just the Pelicans reds with Crescent City.
I
right?
like the video though. Like I just feel like they showed random things in the city of New Orleans, and at the end it was like, boom, uniform.
Well, they're trying to show that, but that's
No,
I think
I
that's
get
the point.
it.
Yeah, they're trying to show the inspiration behind it. How do you arrive here with the Crescent City uniforms? And again, I think I like everything kind of save for the uniforms themselves.
I like them. They're a little different. The outline on the side has all three of the colors: navy blue, red, gold. That's not a thing with the regular red jerseys. So it's a little different.
It is okay. Okay, so there's some slight differences in there.
I just like that it doesn't say New Orleans. I like the touch of Crescent City. We haven't seen that before.
I'll have to see more. Okay, so yeah, Survive's talking about how the short stripes on the side are different as well. Okay, I'll have to see the other teams' uniforms and again see if they're more unique or if they're kind of the same, just barely changed with something different across the chest. But
yeah, the New Orleans on the uniforms, the font, because it has to be, is so small. I don't like that either. So It's a slight change, but I get what you're saying. I mean, it's not wholesale changes on the uniform, and it's supposed to make a statement. Does that make a statement?
Okay, that's a good point. That's a little ironic. If it's called a statement uniform, it's kind of as little of a statement as you possibly could have made. It's like as inoffensive of a statement as you could have made. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to go to like full Hawks highlighter green or pea green or whatever they were experimenting with however many years back. Like, you can go really awry, but maybe a little risk. Maybe just like a little risk would have served them a bit here.
Look, man, as long as Zion's in it, I don't care what color the uniform is.
Yeah, that's probably true. Michael says Miami Heat Vice City jerseys are the best. I do love those.
I like those.
Those are pretty cool.
I don't love the one that looks like you're, sending out a ransom letter with the different fonts.
For the Heat? No, no.
That one's bad.
It's kind of like when Avo says it's kind of like when you copy homework but change an answer so the teacher doesn't catch you. That's okay. It's basically like this uniform. Change it just enough so you didn't plagiarize.
These things are always difficult too. It's very rare that I see fans say like, "Oh, I like that jersey."
True.
It's
like,
always just
that new Colts uniform, kind of trash.
Yeah.
But I see some people that like it. Like every now and then there's some that like
kinda.
it. But like Des Bryant came out and said these things are fire, and loved it. So there's always going to be someone.
Well, Des,
chill out. You're talking about one of the great all-time Saints.
Oh my
that never
God.
was.
He was.
We were hyped though, bro.
For like 2 days.
We were so freaking.
They
hyped
were.
on Des,
I was working for the Pelicans at the time, and
When
everybody,
was that?
Everybody
in
loved
2018,
Des.
everybody in the facility for those like 2 weeks was excited. He could have helped, but then he tore his Achilles.
He was like changing. He was like changing the culture, dude. He was in there working his ass off. Not changing the culture, but he was reinforcing the culture.
Yeah, the first practice got hurt. It was just unfortunate.
Does that make you happy, Taylor? Is that what you wanted? To see
no,
Des
not really.
go?
I was gonna say like Des is a good judge of good uniforms because he did play for the Cowboys.
Did you hate Des as much as you hate every other Cowboy?
No, I like Des. He's a good player.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, have y'all seen? There's a couple of NBA jerseys that are definitely out there, but not so much so that you can't, recognize who it is. And so I'm starting to see some of the statement uniforms. I'll show y'all during the break. Maybe we can throw some up there on the screen.
All right, look, I do want to remind you, go to Rejuve Me Medical, Restore Me, Refuel Me, Rejuve Me. You want to feel younger? You want to feel like a walking throwback human, like jersey? Well, you go to Rejuve Me, and they can throw you back to your childhood. Maybe not, that far back. But you can attain your best self, right? Energy when you roll out of bed, energy when you roll into bed, confidence, get in shape. All of this is there for you. Maybe HRT, maybe metabolization optimization, maybe just a couple of the many, many, many treatments that Rejuve Medical offers. The point is you go in, you get that consultation, you draw your labs, and they see, okay, what does your body need? And they customize the plan with that information, okay? So this is not one size fits all. This is a plan that is going to help you attain your best self. Go to RejuveMedical.com, RejuveMedical.com.
OTB, OT. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
This summer, retirement is a state of mind. Whether it's a mid-morning activity or an early bird special, grab a Coors Light and chill like you're retired.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Agent 4 times in the next 15 seconds. Ready? Go. Our local agents know you and your community. Our local agents offer insurance from top carriers. Our local agents have minty fresh breath.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com. Comparion Insurance Agency. Local agents, expert advice.
And there's number 4.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR. The New Orleans Saints report for training camp. We'll have all the latest previews from New Orleans. Join us 3 to 6. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Yeah, so the Saints had to check if this was the real account, a real X account, and it is. The New Orleans Saints just tweeting out a picture of Jimmy Graham signing a contract with Guess Who's Back. Now, is this a one-day retirement? He looks like he's in great shape still. I read a story recently. Is he like climbing mountains or something? What's he been doing? Who'd they bring in to help coach? They brought in Leroy Glover as a part of the diversity program.
Yeah.
I want to say they brought in somebody else as well. Is Jari Evans back in the mix maybe? Am I making that up?
I think so. Yeah, they brought him.
I think Jari Evans is back in the mix. Like, are they bringing Jimmy Graham to work with Juwan Johnson? Timothy on Twitter says 1-year deal from what I've seen. What is this? But you said Jimmy Graham's not retired.
Yeah, it says as of April 2023, according to Bleacher Report and the story they did with Jimmy, he's not officially retired. I don't know the last time he played. We got to look that up. But I mean, it looks on
Nick Underhill, Jimmy Graham signed a 1-year deal.
Okay, we were wrong. I was about to say it looks on the surface it's a retire as a Saint kind of situation, but I guess welcome back Jimmy Graham. That is very unexpected.
I feel like it's like 8 years too late.
Yeah.
But
Max Unger next.
If we think about the biggest Shout out Max Unger. He changed the game when he came in.
Stud.
He did. Like, I mean,
He was a beast.
People want to. I don't know that the Saints. I think that trade was almost worth it for the Saints as much. That's what I was going to say though. Like, out of all the players to leave, whether it be like, remember, Malcolm Jenkins went on and won a Super Bowl. Trey Hendrickson went on and has been incredible and has been in a Super Bowl with the Bengals. Jimmy Graham go on and didn't go on to do great things, but I would feel like even getting Max Unger back, which was massive because the Saints were awful in the interior for a couple of years there, and he led to a lot of success. I do feel like no one leaving hurt worse than Jimmy Graham, right? Because no one felt as good as Jimmy Graham at the time when he was at his best. He was unstoppable. He's the one that made everything work, it felt like in the 2011 Saints offense when, like we talked about, that was the best Saints team that we've ever seen, even better than the 2009 Super Bowl team. So much of that was because of Jimmy Graham. He was so excited, and then he started to have the fallout with a franchise tag, right, where he was trying to say, I'm a receiver. They're saying you're a tight end. They have a fight about it, and eventually it ends up with Jimmy Graham getting moved on.
I mean, that's out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
You have
36 years old.
Yeah, False Moro, you have Juwan Johnson, you have whatever Taysom Hill is as far as a tight end. You have Jesse James. Now you've got Jimmy Graham, apparently, who last year did play in 15 games for the Bears.
Okay, there we go. So he's still very much active.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought he'd been out of the league at least 1 year.
No, well, he wasn't. This is 2021. So
Yeah, looks like he didn't play.
He didn't play last year.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, my bad. I thought you said
so
last
I might have
year.
said last season. I meant his last season. Sorry if I. But 2021, in 2020, he actually had a really good year in 2020. Started 15 games, had 500 yards almost receiving. But, all right, sure.
Okay, well, guys, it's a morning for breaking news. This is terrifying. From Shams Charania, USC All-American Bronny James collapsed on the court Monday and had a cardiac arrest. He was taken to the hospital and is now in stable condition and no longer in the ICU. What?
At least he's doing better, it looks like, but that's scary as hell.
Oh, my God, man. Well, I don't know. That's awful. Remember to get those heart scans. I remember living for Burke, an organization I was involved. As soon as you can screen your kids, remember to go ahead and do that and try to stay on top of it. That is completely awful, man. You don't think about things like that happening. Certainly not when you've reached the heights that him and that family has. Thank God, though, for I'm sure what was a rapid response medically. I don't know how to transition out of that. That was just pretty shocking to read. That's from 8 minutes ago. From Shams Charania.
As shocking as the Saints signing Jimmy Graham, I guess. But if we can go back to Jimmy Graham for a second.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, sorry.
It looks like as of May 2023, he was training to sail around the world.
That's what it was. That's what I read. Yes.
But he got hit by a car in May. And, I'm trying to see the severity of him getting hit by the car, but he was hit by a car. Didn't play last year. After he didn't play last year, he was hit by a car.
So he got hit by a car so hard that it threw him back into the NFL?
Apparently.
Like,
yes.
You know how Jake, what do they say? Like sometimes you used to hear about, like, coaches talking about getting hit so hard it, like, throws you back in time, like, puts you back in your high. Jimmy Graham got hit so hard by the car that now he's an NFL player again?
As somebody who got in a car accident recently, you definitely kind of reevaluate some things if it's serious enough. So maybe, man. Everything happens for a reason.
Shout out.
Shefty has it now. I mean, yeah, Saints now have signed their former Pro Bowl tight end, Jimmy Graham, to a 1-year contract.
All right. Is it 2014? Let's get it.
Huh.
Of all the former Saint greats that still could play football, like, this was not a name that I was expecting.
No.
Not at all.
No. He's getting ready to sail around the world. I don't, huh.
Not only because
I'm trying to decide how exciting it should be.
Out of football, but also, they've already made moves at tight end, I guess.
Yeah, no, you have a very good tight end room, for sure. But then again, look, I'm sure that if Juwan Johnson wants to be that receiving tight end, I would imagine that Jimmy Graham probably has some tips and tricks that he could teach him, right? So why do y'all think Jimmy Graham never caught on with Aaron Rodgers?
Well, a big critique. I don't know if it has anything to do with Rodgers, but a big critique of his in New Orleans was he was not a good blocker. He was not a willing blocker.
No, I know that. But I mean, like,
in 18,
like Rodgers should be able to get him the ball the same way that Breeze could.
Yeah,
right?
2018 with Rodgers, he had 55 catches, 636 yards,
which is pretty good. But he was used to being like, there was a stretch there. I remember adding up during all the franchise tag drama early in my radio career. Like he had, if you looked at like a 3 or 4, maybe even 5-year sample, he was like top 5 wide receiver in the league in terms of like yards, touchdowns, all that stuff.
Rodgers had a lot more weapons than the Saints had when he was here. I mean, think about it. You had Colston, but I mean, outside of Colston and Graham, what'd you really have? I mean, I don't want to say they force-fed him the ball, but I mean, Rodgers had James Jones. He had Jordy Nelson. He had 2 really good running backs at the time. He still had Randall Cobb, who was coming up and was young. I mean, there's just a lot more weapons in Green Bay at that point.
Hold the Mayo's right. It's because Rodgers ain't Drew Brees. True. Big true. Big true. Bum. I can't wait to watch him on Hard Knocks. I actually think he's going to be great this year because he cut his hair. Aaron Rodgers now looks like an old, like, salty. He looks like a salty general. Like I told you, I've been reading that Philip and Alexander book, and like the craziest thing about that Macedonian army is it has all these like 56-year-old men who are in charge and still just beast warriors that have been fighting their entire life. That's basically Aaron Rodgers this year.
To Taylor's point, 2013, one of Jimmy's biggest years for the Saints. He obviously led the team with 86 catches. The second leading receptions guy on the Saints that year,
Kamara?
Pierre Thomas, was 77.
It was pre-Kamara. You said 2013. My bad.
And then you've got Colston, who had 75, and then you've got a huge drop-off. You've got 36 for Lance Moore.
Lance
I mean, you literally had Colston and Jimmy Graham, and then Pierre Thomas out of the back.
Hey, put a little more respect on the PT Bruiser.
No, but he wasn't known as a receiving back, is what I'm saying.
Also had
He's an all-time screen back.
Sproles also had 71 catches, so you had 148 catches from your running backs.
Yeah. Hey, look, Drew Brees. Aaron Rodgers ain't Drew Brees.
When you have that screen game and then Colston and Grand, the third level of the field, Peyton's going to be a good enough, mind to make an elite offense out of that, and that's what happened.
Damn. Shout out Jimmy Graham. Welcome back, man.
Shout out. As shocked as I was when the Saints traded him, which I also did not see coming, I remember that day. I was in college. I am just as shocked right now.
All right. When we get back, hey, do remember to, well, actually, never mind. I don't have to remind you to do anything just yet. When we get back, we go to Ask the Bench. Brought to you by Cold Cruise. I visited those Blooming Lights guys. Citrus Sweet. More off the bench.
OTB, OT. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR. The New Orleans Saints report for training camp. We'll have all the latest previews from New Orleans. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
That's the bench. Brought by Cole Kurtz Light, Busy Heart, Tilted Blue Moon, Light Sky, Citrus Sweet. What does Jake stand on behind the desk to make you two look close in height? Nothing. These microphones only go so far up. So if you see me, I'm literally hitting like a super wide split the majority of the time I'm standing up. It's very uncomfortable.
I'm not 5'6".
That's true. That's true as well. Yeah, it's like a couple inches. It's like a couple inches.
Not the tallest guy in the world, but I am 5'11".
Ask the bench, favorite movie score?
Gladiator.
Okay. Is that Zimmer? That's Zimmer?
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, it's not, even though I love J-Dubs, if we're talking singular movie score, I still think I'm going to go with Lord of the Rings and Howard Shore.
That's a little upset.
Yeah, but that trilogy of songs, even though I don't casually listen to it nearly as much as J-Dubs.
Yeah, Gladiator has a good soundtrack.
Feels like you just said Gladiator because Jake said Gladiator.
He said score, not soundtrack.
I thought that's what that was. I'm not well
Soundtrack's like the music that is used in the movie. Score is like the music that is composed for the movie, right?
Not like if they're playing a song. In
Yes,
the
like the Spider-Man soundtrack are like all the Metro Boomin songs.
Right.
The Spider-Man score
But the score is like the music, the anticipation,
Yeah,
of the
the
battle in
orchestral-
Gladiator, and you're going out to the the Coliseum.
You know, you got your hands going over the fields.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I mean, I don't think they would have a soundtrack for Gladiator.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I can imagine they would. Yeah.
Ask the bench, better breeding high organic and inorganic beans or high prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells?
What?
Neither.
The former, I would say.
Sure.
See if I can get back to some of these mailbag questions from early on because we had a lot of good ones come in and we just didn't have the time for it today. Oh man, I've gone as far back as I can. Hester goes to be mailbag. Have you seen the BR Restaurant Week menus and what are your thoughts? I've not seen them. Has anybody?
I have not.
Ask the bench. Is there a competition on who asks the most? That's a good question. Questions. It depends. Sometimes you get a legitimate, that's a good question.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just a reflex that somebody says
Filler.
in order to, get their thoughts in order before
Yeah,
they
if you ask them something they're not ready for, a lot of times, that's a really good question. You kind of feel which one is real and which one's buying time, though.
If you notice, though, if you ever see Jake dab, that is generally not hitting the dab pin. If he dabs,
like dad dab.
That's generally when it happens.
That's either one of us, because we're a team.
Yeah.
T-Bob gets it too. Still get the dab.
That's true. Still get the dab.
Yeah. I mean, Nick said fascinating question. I mean, I feel like that's
pretty good from Nick.
Yeah, I don't even remember what I asked.
Neither do I.
Nor do I.
Somebody keeps saying smoofy in the chat. I'm hesitant to read that. I don't know what that means. Am I missing something here?
No, I don't know either.
Okay. Better Ackerman on APT, Levy or Mikasa? I don't know.
What?
I probably should not be reading questions out loud that I just have no understanding.
No
of.
idea what they're talking about.
That could have been. That could have been. It could be bad. Maybe I don't know.
Could be. I don't know.
No, that's a great question. I'm filling time now.
How much would it take for you, T-Bob, to go through an NFL training camp? Now, knowing you're not going to make the team, no matter what you do at the end, but going through it, you've got to go all 5 full weeks, play in the preseason games. How much money would it take for you to do that?
If I know I'm not going to make the team?
You're not going to make the team.
Oh, I mean, not that much.
Right now, like in your current physical condition, not playing condition.
I mean, shoot, dude. If my current physical condition had been so bad, they wouldn't give me any reps. So I'd just be chilling the entire time. Shoot, 50K?
What? 50?
Bro, easily for like a month, 6 weeks of work. Yeah.
Hell no.
Hell yeah.
Hell no. Hell no. It would take a lot. A lot.
Oh, that was an Attack on Titan question. And no, I have not watched Demon Slayer yet. I apologize. Did you all know this? Anime characters are actually drawn to look like cats. I've always wondered why they don't look Asian. They're not drawn to look human at all. They're drawn in a feline profile. Have a great day.
OTB, OT.
Go to DraftKings. DraftKings Sportsbook got a big fight coming up this weekend, boys. A couple of boxing giants facing off, but only one will walk away. The welterweight title as Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford battle out in the ring in DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Bet $5 on the fight. You get $150 in bonus bets instantly. How about that, my friends? Plus, look, that's if you're a new customer and use the promo code Baton Rouge. If you're a returning customer, remember all the MMA, boxing, fighting action is there for you, and you can always do the same fight parlays where you juice up that payday. So do not miss out on the fight that everybody's talking about. Download DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Promo code Baton Rouge. Again, bet $5 on the fight. New customers get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Must be 21 or older and physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/boxing terms. Licensing partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537.
Expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back